Folks at home, how you doing? Mike Iaconelli here. Welcome to IKE Live, the very special West Coast Swing edition of the show. Let me tell you, man, we got an amazing show in store tonight, and we're going to talk a lot about how this West Coast swing has really been what I call mixed emotions for me. It's been a split personality trip for me, and we're going to talk about that. And I might as well just go ahead and show you. This is what I think about the West Coast swing. That's right. That's right. I've got a split personality tonight, folks. And don't be scared. Don't be scared about the look I have going on tonight. But this is honestly a representation through facial hair of how my entire West Coast trip has been. It's been really half and half. The travel part of it, the experience part of it, has been great. The fishing part of it has been kind of bald and hairless. That's a good way to describe it. Man, want to thank everybody for joining in. Once again, this is a show that we're doing on the road. And we are still here at Lake Havasu City in Arizona, enjoying the beautiful weather. Sitting to my right, you'll see her on and off tonight throughout the show, is my beautiful wife, Becky. Hi, Beck.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
You doing good?
I can't hear anything.
You can't hear anything. Nobody's talking. That's why you can't hear anything.
It's quiet in the
Somebody say
studio.
hi.
Hi, Becky.
Hello.
See?
Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah,
Oh.
your microphone's really low, Beck. Put that closer to your mouth.
Okay. Is yours not working? No. Okay. Well, then maybe you're not going to be a part of the show. Let me introduce you to everybody in the studio while Becky's trying to figure out her technical difficulties, as usual. Sitting in my chair, I believe, and
I am.
I believe is Pete Glusick. Pete,
How are you, man?
how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. I haven't talked to you for a couple weeks.
I haven't talked to you in a while. How do you like the new look on my facial hair tonight?
I'm amazed. I shouldn't be amazed, but I'm always amazed. But I dare you. Are you going to wear that through the next tournament?
Well, I got to tell you, something really interesting happened. So I just did this. I just did this look here within the last 30 minutes. And we're out back, and the neighbor here, an elderly lady, called me over. She yelled over. She said, "Hey, come over. I want to say if you need extra parking, we have parking in our driveway." So I walked over there, and I'm just having a normal conversation with her.
No, you
Totally forgot I look like this. Yeah, so Becky had to go over and apologize for me. So
That's ridiculous.
it's a true story. But
It's a crazy
we've got
look.
Pete Glusick in my chair, and I believe he's running late. We've got Dave Brodzik, a.k.a. Fathead, a.k.a. Wharf, on his way.
AKA
He'll be here
missing.
shortly. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again.
Whoa.
Dave is the crux, and he is our resident a-hole of Ike Live. So we need him. He's a very important part of the show.
And he just walked in the outer door, so he'll be sitting
How
down
about that?
shortly.
I talk about him, and he shows up. And then let me tell everybody, I know you know these guys, and they are an important part of the show as well. In the booth tonight, joining us, the two engineers of the show,
Choo-choo.
Brian Stockel, a.k.a. Brian the Carpenter, a.k.a. Spock, a.k.a. Press One Spock, a.k.a. Ding Dong, joining us live tonight via in the studio. And then next to Brian, and we're going to have some conversations because he was actually part of the Delta event. So we're going to get a really cool look at that event from a co-angler standpoint. Joining us is our man, J3. J3, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. Thanks for
Good to
having
see
me.
you. You look a little different without the helmet on, but it's good to see you. We'll address that a little later tonight. Let me start the show real quick, like I always do, and we want to say a special thank you to our military. Thank you guys, men and women. Thank you for what you do, active and veterans, retired military. Thank you guys. Also, special shout out to the police, firemen, EMT. Thank you guys for your service. Crazy world. And I had a note earlier that today is the start of Police Week, where the police are represented, especially all the fallen policemen are represented, and they have a big thing going on in Washington, D.C. So our thoughts and prayers go out to all the fallen policemen out there. Thank you guys for what you do. Let me get an update. Pete, give me an update from you. Before I start giving you an update, I want to hear what's going on with Pete Glusick.
Man, it's what's going on with me has been just fishing like crazy. Things are kicked into gear, wide open. I've been fishing the upper Chesapeake where you guys are coming to. The elites here will be here in August. And it's amazing. You guys were fishing post spawn down there at Havasu mainly. And right now, all the fish in the Delaware River and the Chesapeake Bay have turned into wide open spawn. It's just happening. They're just hitting the beds right now. It's crazy good. The Delaware is 30 bites a day right now.
What?
Compared to what you guys were dealing with in August.
Are you really? You're getting 30 bites?
You know, the guys,
30
I want to
bites.
tell you something. The guys wouldn't believe that.
Yeah, no.
Remember, let's talk about that when we have a couple of our guests on, because they won't believe that, Pete. They won't believe it.
I got a great picture. Maybe I can get it up here later of little Jake. I took him out for 2 hours, and we caught a half a dozen bass, including a 4-pounder and a couple 2.5 and 3s. And here's little Jake, 5 years old, holding these monster fish. The guys just would not believe that they live in the Delaware. But the Delaware's on fire right now. It's just coming on. The Chesapeake is really getting going. The grass is growing tall, and I just been out there fishing every single day, doing Bass University on water training, and just doing that stuff. It's been a blast. And actually, right now, what's new with me is I just came from Ocean City.
Ocean City.
Ocean City. We're having a little.
Did you see Snooki when you were down there?
I didn't see Snooki, but we got a great white shark that is policing the banks out there.
Mary Lee?
Is that what she's called?
I don't know, dude. She's 3,500 pounds.
Hey, I'm following her on Twitter.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
We're staying out of the water for now, but
Pete, she's traveled some 22,000 miles. Like in the, I don't know how long the tracking period was, but it's like 22,000 miles.
wow.
It's insane, man.
Yeah, they're talking about it down there, but we're down there. We're having a Mother's Day kind of vacation celebration down at Ocean City, and me and Jake were swimming in a heated pool down there just a couple hours ago. So, hey, that's what's going on with me. But it's great to see you again, man.
It's good to hear from you guys, man. I got to be honest with you. This has been, I talked about the dual role of this trip and how it's been amazing and a little sucky at the same time. But I got to be honest with
Like
you,
your face
and I'm
right
going to
now,
tell you
right?
something right now, and I'm not going to shed a tear. This is from the heart. I miss you guys.
Same here, bud.
I do.
Yeah.
I miss you guys. I miss hanging out with you. It's a little different, being here over Skype. We get to talk to each other and see each other and have a good time. But it's different not being in the studio, not hanging out with you guys. I do miss you. So
Same here,
a lot of love.
We
to
love
guys.
you, man.
Thank you.
Hey, Mike, you got to consider, man. Turn to the young side of your face. Go to the let me see the unside.
Okay.
Unshaved
Yeah,
there, the shaved only.
Here it goes. Let me give you a close up. Okay, ready? 21.
Wow.
51.
Exactly, dude.
21. 51.
Yeah,
All right, one more time.
How'd you like that?
Nice.
I saw gray hair in there.
Unfortunately, I can't do that. When you look at my balls, they just all look 50.
Oh man.
The entire nut sack looks 50.
Is there a
There's nothing in
50-50?
between.
Is there a 50-50 trim down there too?
Yeah.
Yeah, 50, no, that would be funny. I should do the whole body like that. Let me real quick break in and mention that because I am in what I would consider the spring break capital of the United States, and it is beautiful weather. It's sunny, and we're here with a lake and a pool. I got to tell you, the beer of choice tonight is Corona Light. Hey, don't be a hater. I like Corona every once in a while too. And let me let you know that a little later in the show, we will be partaking in a Becky special, which is a margarita specially designed by Rebecca herself. So beer of choice tonight, Corona. Corona.
We're just going to hit
Thank
the
you,
top shelf in the liquor cabinet, Mike.
I'm a little
You know those
little
bottles,
nervous about what I'm going to find when I get back.
those
Actually-
bottles that are in a box.
Yeah, what you're not going to find.
There's nothing left. It's like that time that we were all drinking with Tom, and we drank the Skull vodka and put water in it. Like, why?
I thought you were
Like,
going to bring up the parakeet that got microwaved, allegedly.
Oh, man.
Oh man. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So let's see. Let me tell everybody, we got a very interesting show tonight. So this is the West Coast Swing. We have, and this is breaking news. This is even breaking news for Brian the Carpenter and J3 and everybody. We have an amazing guest in Justin Lucas, who is the winner of the first event on the California Delta. He's going to be joining us via phone. Friend of the show, great kid, really proud of him.
Yeah.
And we just found out through the little black box
What?
that Aaron Martens, A-Mart,
What?
will be joining us as well tonight.
Wow.
A-Mart, everybody.
All right.
No kidding. Is he
Great
calling
guy.
in?
He's a winner of the event that just passed here on Lake Havasu. He'll be joining us tonight. So, man, we've got a star-studded show. Brian, do we have anything else special lined up? Do you have anything special in studio
Yeah,
that I should know about?
We just threw it all
Nothing.
out.
Strippers, or is Dave doing a strip tease tonight or anything?
No, but Pete is.
Yeah.
Pete!
I believe that just got bumped. Aaron, I think.
No,
bumped
how
it.
about your update, Pete?
Oh, we do got it up. I forgot about
It's a
that
good
update.
time for an update, Pete. Let's hear it.
233 on the scale today.
Wow.
Wow!
Yep.
Good job,
That's,
Pete.
that's down eight and a half pounds
233!
That's 8.5 from the last one.
from the last
Wow.
weigh-in. Yep.
Wow.
That's a total loss of what? 22 pounds.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Holy.
Total 22 pounds off the body.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a good week, man. I'm telling you, I feel good. I'm getting lighter, and the lighter I get, the harder I can work, and the lighter I get, and the harder I can work. So it's kind of building and growing on itself. So I hope to keep going.
Good job, dude. You look
Thanks,
good.
man. Thank you, man. But that's the new update for me. There's a little one on the camera.
I think I just
Yeah.
shaved 8.5 pounds off his face.
Yeah, we've got them all over. Who knows who's going to be showing up here tonight? It's it's you never know who's going to be walking through. But I got to tell you something. Let me just give you a little update on how my week went this week. Why the burn is still fresh in my mind. Let me just give you a heads up on how my week went. Today means nothing. Today was a Monday. The tournament's over. I had to go out and do a photo shoot with Sego Cieto, one of the best photographers in the business. You've probably heard that name before. And we went out there and did a shoot, and we're doing just a lot of really cool images out there. And we're leaving a location, and I decided to just troll out for a while. And today is totally different than what this week was weather-wise. Today's flat. There's no wind. It's calm. In the area of the lake we were in, you could see 10 feet down easily. And so I just put the troll motor on high. I spun it. I said, man, I bet you there still might be a few big smallmouth spawning. And I rolled down the bank about 300 yards, and sure enough, there it goes. I look down, and there's a 5-pound smallmouth locked, not moving, just angry, just sitting there. And I'm like, oh God, this is going to be great. And I back up a little bit. I reposition. She's just staying. I pull out a drop shot, about 5 or 6 casts in. She actually bumped it like the first couple casts and didn't get it. And I threw it in there, figured out what she wanted, and all of a sudden she just starts taking it away. I got her, man. Set the hook, fight it, taking my time. I get it about 2 feet from the boat, gone. Pulls off. Mysteriously pulls off. That's a good indicator of how my week went here at Havasu. God, it was a heartbreaker. Had a lot of missed opportunities for big fish, and that was a key here. 2 and 2.5 pounders are everywhere. You can't keep them off your line. But the 3, 3.5, 4, 5 pound class fish, it's a tougher fish to catch here. And I really, I blew a lot of those opportunities. I hate it because it hurts. You know, it hurts to lose those opportunities. And any one of those fish is the difference between coming in 53rd and 35th. Literally, any one of those fish.
Right.
Really, really tough to talk about it and stomach. But that's the kind of week it was for me. And you know, I don't know. Those things just happen. I don't feel like you know, I did anything wrong. It was just one of those weeks where nothing really fell into place. Everything was kind of a heartbeat off for me.
Were they spawning fish? Is that what maybe why you were losing them?
No. There were fish in every phase of the spawn here this week, Pete. You had fish that were bedding. You had a lot of fish that were post spawn, and I think we're going to get to hear Justin and Aaron talk about catching post spawn fish this week. And there were also very few pre-spawners still coming. So they were in every phase. But let me give you the second example. And this happened the second day of the tournament, right? This is a critical day for me. I needed one big one to advance on to the third day. And same thing. I had a smallmouth hooked in the 4-pound class on a jerkbait, on a Rapala Shadow Rap deep, great jerkbait. It's got 3 sets of trebles. When they get it, right? And I hooked this fish about 10 foot from the boat. I saw the black shadow come up behind it, and I twitch, and I just saw him go, suck it in, and I got him. I got his ass. This fish is mine. I'm taking my time. As he gets closer to the boat, I look, and he's got every treble in his mouth. He's got the front 2 in his mouth, the third one top of his head. I'm not going to miss this fish. There's no way that I'm losing this fish. So I'm wearing it down. I want to get it to a point where I can land this fish without it jumping all over the place. I get it to the boat, and I get him to the side where I normally use a technique where I either belly the fish or I pin the fish to the side of the boat. And so I belly the fish, and I get the fish in my palm, and I start this process of now I've got him, and I'm just going to kind of scoop him into the boat. And as I do that, I'm not kidding you, dude. I can close my eyes, and it's actually like a freaking nightmare, right? As I'm scooping him, he slides down my palm and starts to shake.
Oh.
And the one treble hook on the jerkbait goes into my finger.
Oh, yeah, dude.
He uses that as leverage.
Yeah.
Oh,
Shakes his head, comes off. I reach for him, lose him.
Yeah.
He swims away, and I've got 2 sets of trebles in my hand. Dude, my adrenaline is pumping so bad. I'm so pissed off. I pull the trebles out. No secret line technique. Pull them out. I'm boiling. And Bri, I see the look. You know the feeling. Dude, I'm boiling. I can't even take what just happened. I look down, and in the passenger seat, I have a swim bait rod laying, and I knew what I had to do. I had to get rid of this anger so quick. And I looked at my partner, and I looked at my marshal, and I apologized in advance. I said, I'm sorry, I gotta break this rod. I got the rod, and I broke it right in half over my leg. It felt so good. And I did it, and I looked at the rod, and it still hurt. I still had this burn, and I go, I gotta do it again. So I got the top half of the broken half of the rod, and I went, Gah! And I broke it over my leg. And this time, the graphite splintered, and it broke right where a guide was at, a double-footed guide.
Oh.
And the double-footed guide went in that side of my finger and out that side of my finger. I impaled myself.
Oh, God.
And so listen to me. I'm feeling this pain right now. I can't even pull it out. And the adrenaline's flowing so bad, I just yanked the thing out, and when it pulls out, blood just squirts out of it. And I said, uh-oh. You better get me a Band-Aid. And at that point, I finally calmed down enough that I could fish again. It was one of those days, you know? Yeah. It was one of those days.
That's crazy.
Thank God there was no camera boat.
Bri, are you guys still there? Am I having an audio issue? I might be having the same audio issue, Bri. Say something.
Yo,
We're still here.
You're loud and
All
clear,
right,
Mike.
You're a lot lower than you were at the beginning of the broadcast, but I could barely hear
We
you.
hear you perfect.
No, that was a great story.
Oh my God,
That's
it's
Yeah,
amazing.
not
insane,
good.
man.
Wow.
So that was a good example of how my week went at Havasu. I got to tell you, Delta was similar
Oh my God.
in that I had a few opportunities at the California Delta to catch a couple big ones the second day, and they didn't materialize. Same thing, just a few lost fish, a few missed key bites. In a lot of decisions, I look back at the Delta, and real quick, I'll tell you a decision on the last day that I fished that hurt, which was I found an area in the Delta, and I caught all small fish in this area. Never caught one over 2 pounds. And on the second day, I decided to visit this area late, like literally with like 15, 20 minutes to go before I had to run back. And I pulled into this area, immediately caught a 3.5 pounder, flipping a mat. I go down the bank another 20 yards, and I see a 4 pounder on the bed. I fish for that for a little bit. I say, it's too much work. I got 5 minutes. Let me keep going. I go down the bank with a couple minutes to go before I had to leave, and I had this timed. Now think about this. I had this timed when I had to leave to give me time to stop and get gas to make it back. With 5 minutes to go before I had to leave to get gas, I find a 5 pounder locked, sitting. I mean, she is sitting. And I pulled down, and I made a decision right then that I was going to use the 5 minutes I had plus the 10 minutes I had allotted to get gas to try to catch that fish. It was a game changer. I was going to take the chance. I was going to forego getting gas to try to catch this fish. I didn't catch it. I got her to spin on it a few times to look, and had to leave. I had my last cast and I had to turn around and go. And again, it was a bad decision in that I didn't go to that area earlier, and I had to just go knowing that it was going to be a really close deal whether I made it in with gas or ran out of gas. And so it was a big run for everybody, So running back, I made it 3/4 of the way in. I made it to within 5 miles of where we launched in Sacramento. And luckily enough, and this is just kind of maybe fate, a little bit of fate. Luckily enough, I'm going through an idle zone, and I look behind me, and who's behind me?
A good-looking guy.
It's Cajun Baby and our very own J3 as a co-angler. and they're behind me idling, so I slow up, and I let them know what's going on. I say, look, guys, do me a favor. Can you follow me? I said, I don't know if I'm going to make it in on gas. If I don't make it in, can you pick me up and take me back? And sure enough, I mean, we got out of the idle zone. We got on pad, maybe not even a quarter mile. I run out of gas, and J3 and Cajun Baby were nice enough to pick me up. So thank you, Cajun Baby, if you're watching. Thank you, J3. Picked me up, got me in on time. Now, let me tell you something. It may sound like, a lot of you guys are out there saying, well, who cares? You only had 13 pounds anyway. It's not like you had to win in fish. It's not like you even had to fish advance. But, we're going to be able to sit here at the end of the year and do a show, and we're going to be able to look back at that event, making it in on time, getting to weigh that 13 pounds. We're going to get to look at that and see how important that was, The big theme for me for these two events is they were so mediocre. I'm disappointed. I'm mad at myself performance-wise. But, dude, I survived. I only dropped 8 points in AOY. I got out of here. I literally caught 13 pounds every tournament day out here.
Wow.
And sometimes you got to grind through, and you got to just fish what you got. You fish the fish that you've got to keep yourself in contention, and I did that. So, so it was not pretty, but I did survive the West Coast swing. J3, I'd like to get your thoughts on that incident, by the way.
Well, I'll tell you what. I just would like to say that it is amazing watching you guys out there on the Elite Tour. It is amazing the camaraderie that you guys all have, indifferent whether they like each other, don't like each other. When somebody's struggling, I've seen it many times because I've marshaled for a few years now, that you guys will help each other out. And from fishing weekend series events and fishing opens and stuff like that, man, I've seen it where guys they roll out. Nobody's helping nobody. It's like every man for themselves. But when it comes down to you guys at the Elites, I mean, I was with Fred Rumbanis. His motor was only doing like 40 mile an hour. Edwin Evers followed him the whole way back at 40 mile an hour. Edwin's like, I got time. I'll follow you. If you break down, I'll grab you and we'll go. Followed him the whole way back. I mean, Cliff grabbed you, thought nothing of it. He was like, yeah, man, go ahead. We'll hang back and we'll grab you. I mean, it's kind of like you guys are all in competition together, but nobody's cutting each other's throat to get ahead. They all want to win by a legitimate win, which is, very commendable from all you guys.
I want to add to that. I mean, we saw something on Bassmaster Live. One of our boys, Ish Shama, did that exact thing for Justin Lucas. And
2 minutes to spare, homie.
allowed Justin to get to weigh in, which put him in the winner circle. And Ish has taken a bad rap. He's going through some controversy. But, man, in that video they showed on Bassmasters was amazing, what he did for Justin to get his fish in on the time. But that's another one.
Justin must have owed him money. For a random act of kindness for that to occur.
They want to know if KVD ever helped you.
No, you know what though? KVD never helped me. He never hurt me, but he never helped me. But I'm glad you brought this up because while we're talking about it, and I don't want to make this seem like a Skeet Reese bash because we've been bashing him like the last 3 shows. This isn't a bash, but on IKE Live, as you know, we're all about telling real stories. This is reality. I want to jump back real quick and tell you something that happened my rookie year, 1999, on the Elite Trail. Pete, you were with me in this event. The third term of the year that year was Lake Toho. Shaw Grisby ended up winning. I ended up coming second. So the last day, day 4, I'm running back from Lake Kissimmee, and I'm running up the canal to lock back through to Toho. And Skeet was in front of me, like literally in front of me, right? Where Skeet was running, I was kind of a couple 100 yards back in his wake, and I'm running, and sure enough, as luck would have it, I'm running to Mercury at the time. Let me preface it by saying I was running to Mercury at the time. I spin a hub, and I'm dead in the water, right? I spin a hub. I get over to the bank, and I'm like distraught. I don't know how to fix this. I'm like, I got a huge bag in a live well on the last day. I got like almost 20 pounds. I'm going to have a shot to win or overtake Shaw. I'm like panicking. I'm like, oh, what do I do? I'm like on the phone trying to call Bass, trying to call Mercury. All of a sudden, a local boat and a gambler, I distinctively remember this, comes by. I flag him down. I call him over and say, dude, do me a favor, please. I said, run up there. He's just in front of us. This is all happening like within minutes. I said, run up to the lock, and there's a boat up there, and a guy in there named Skeet Reese. I'm like, please, go ask him if he could just come back. And I'm talking about like 2 miles, not even 2 miles, like less than 2 miles away, right? And so he's like, all right, I'll do it. Fires it up. Boom, he's gone. I'm still on the phone with Mercury trying to figure out if I can do something. And like 5 minutes later, he comes back, and I see this gambler coming back on pad. I'm like, thank God he got to him. Skeet's going to be right behind him. The guy sets down, comes idling to me, and I'm looking. I don't see any Skeet. And the guy goes, oh, man, that guy said he didn't want to come back for you. True story.
Oh, man.
True story, dude.
Wow.
Hey, I'm just saying. I'm not being a hater. I'm not being a basher. But that happened.
It could be possible that Skeet was behind the 8 ball on his check-in time too. We don't know that status.
Pete, let me stop you. There were 12 guys on the last day. We were all doing it at the same time. We had plenty of time to make it in.
Well, what happened? How'd you get in?
So here's another cool twist to the story. So when he said that, so now I get on the phone with the tournament director. And at the time, there was an assistant tournament director. He's no longer there. Pete, you know who I'm talking about. I can't remember his name, the guy with the mustache and the beard. Assistant tournament director. I get on the phone. I have him on the phone. I'm like, look. I'm like, I'm with my marshal. I'm with my observer. I'm like, can I jump in this guy's boat? Can I put my fish in a bag and jump in this guy's boat and have this guy carry me back? And the assistant tournament director at the time at Bass said, okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, do it. As long as your marshal stays with you, you can do it. He runs me back. I get to weigh in. When I get there, as soon as I get there, I'm protested by Denny Brower, who made the last day, because I came in with a non-tournament angler. Mm-hmm. At the time, there was no rule addressing what that assistant tournament director let me do. So from that tournament on, I created a rule. That's one of the rules that I'm actually famous for creating in Bass. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
most of the others are DQs, but thank you very much for this one. I created that rule. So after that happened, they had to put in place a rule that said if you call the tournament director and he okays you to ride in with a non-tournament competitor, you can get your fish and ride in with somebody else. So that's the way it shook out. So I made it in. By default, they had to let me weigh my fish because they gave me permission to weigh them, and I weighed like 19 pounds of fish and moved up to second place on that last day.
That's awesome.
So thank you, Skeet. Thank you, Denny, for protesting me. Appreciate
it. Mike, when the gambler got to the lock, was Skeet still there?
Skeet had already locked through, but
right.
they had locked Skeet through, and they were able to pull it down. The great thing about the Toho lock, if I know a lot of you Ike Live listeners and watchers out there know about that lock, it's very small. It's a small lock. They can pull it down real quick. The Lockmaster was awesome. He pulled the snot out of it really quick. He put us in. He filled it back up super quick, and we made it in with a couple minutes to spare. So that's a true story. But it goes against what you're talking about, J3. A lot of guys will help you no matter what. Some guys won't. But I got to tell you something else. It breaks into another story, which is that adrenaline. And I felt it then, back then. Shh, mama. I felt it then on that tournament when I was riding in with this guy I didn't know, and I had minutes to make it in. J3, I know you saw it, the sweat on my forehead. When I was with Cajun Baby and J3, I felt the pressure. But I think for guys that don't tournament fish, for guys that aren't involved in competitive sports or anything like that, they're the moments you live for. You don't want them to happen, but man, dude, you're alive. I mean, that's the shit. That's why you do this shit, man.
Let's talk about
it's
that.
Amazing.
Let's talk about that pressure for a minute. So he's up on the front of the boat, right? We're going through an idle zone. Now, Mike's idle and your idle and my idle are probably pretty close to the same, when it says 6 mile an hour, no wake. But Mike's idle is a whole new idle. He's up on the front of the boat telling Cliff.
Yeah, I'm up front going, I'm looking at Cajun Baby. I'm going, push it.
I think Cliff said, if I get DQ'd, you're paying my entry fee.
That's what he said, too. I said, okay, I will, whatever. But it all worked out. So, and let me mention everybody. I'll let the cat out of the bag now. Officially, we will have Cajun Baby in studio sometime in July or August. So looking forward to that. We're going to need a translator, but we will have Cajun Baby in studio.
I'm looking most forward to that, probably.
Yeah.
Mama say.
We're going to have to get things for him to read.
Well, Dave, here's even more breaking news for you, Dave. Not only are we going to have Cajun Baby in,
yes,
but we're going to have Marizu Shimizu in on the same night.
Wow.
Pretty cool, man.
How about that?
Wow. That is going to be neat.
Dave,
that's going to be a mess.
We want you to be the translator for both of them.
I can. I'm
Okay.
fluent. As long as they speak bullshit, I'm good to go, man.
Bullshit's a good language. Hey, let me break real quick here and let everybody know this is exciting news. And let me see if I can pull it up real quick while we're talking here. I want to let everybody know, and you got to remember, Ike Live is basically a bunch of 30 to 40, mid 40-year-old dudes that know nothing about technology and the internet. Look at Brian the Carpenter. He's running a damn web show. He knows nothing about it.
I don't know damn thing.
But we have finally gotten into the age of social media. So for all you social media heads out there, we now have Ike Live pages on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Very exciting. I want everybody that's a fan of the show, everybody that's watching and listening tonight, please go and follow us on those 3 social media sites. Ike Live Show, you can find it. Just put in Ike Live Show, you'll find it. And because of this special announcement and launch tonight, we're running a very special promotion tonight, a giveaway, a sweepstakes, a prize here. And I want everybody to take a picture of yourself watching the show tonight, okay? Just take a picture, send it in to our site, send it into Instagram, send it into Facebook, or send it into Twitter, and I want you to hashtag that Watch Ike Live, and we're going to pick the best photo of you watching tonight. And get creative. If you're drinking beer, if you're outside, if you're by the pool, if you're butt naked, if you're stroking a cat, whatever you're doing, watching the show, send that picture, send it, post it to social media, hashtag Watch Ike Live, and tonight we're going to pick the best photo, and you're going to win a Tackle Warehouse gift bag. Tackle Warehouse, everybody knows Tackle Warehouse. You're going to win a gift bag about a $50 value. You've got a $25 gift card in there. You've got a hat, a bumper sticker, and Tackle Warehouse koozie. So I want you to do that tonight. Best picture wins Tackle Warehouse gift bag. What do you have to say about that, Brian?
I'm very excited about that. I'm even more excited about
Okay.
this.
And guys listening out
Good
there,
job,
don't be
Mike.
afraid to have your attractive girlfriends or wives take that picture in lieu of you.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely. We'd love to see more females than males.
That's a
for
great
sure.
way to win a Tackle Warehouse gift
It's a
bag.
great way to win.
Yeah.
It's probably the best way to win.
Yeah, there could be a guy on a uneven bar doing flips while watching the thing on his phone, but let a hot woman in a bikini just be holding like a phone, and they win.
Hey, let's
Guaranteed.
up the ante right here. Let's up the ante. If anybody submits a picture of them watching Ike Live with a half-shaven beard like
Ooh.
tonight, you'll get a gift pack. You'll get a gift pack regardless. Let's up the ante.
Dude, you're like Oprah Winfrey here.
Half-shaven.
Hey,
Yeah.
you have any razors in that bathroom downstairs, Mike? You didn't stipulate.
Dave's trying to win something here.
Call Carmel. Give Carmel a call. She'll
Yeah,
come over
We'll get her over here.
with a straight razor.
So, what do we got? We got about 8:40. When are we taking Justin?
We're
And-
gonna take Justin. I think we're gonna call Justin 9 o'clock, and then we're gonna do Aaron right after that. By the way, Brian, did you get Aaron's contact information?
I
Okay,
did get
great.
that, yep. I did.
Let's see what else. I want to catch up on a couple other things here real quick. A little housekeeping. I want to talk about the Exmark promotion.
Oh, yeah.
All you that watch Ike Live know Exmark, a supporter of the show. And by the way, Exmark, they have the best damn lawnmowers in the world. And we're running a special promotions called Take Back Your Weekends. You're going to see the promo for it during this show. During one of the breaks, you may have already seen it. I don't know. We've got a tag on it right there above your screen. This is a really cool sweepstakes, and basically all you have to do is submit a video on the site, letting us know how you take back your weekends, and doing what you love to do, whether it's fishing or hunting or spending time with the family or gardening or whatever you do. Let us know, short video, how you take back your weekends, and we've got a slew of prizes. Of course, the grand prize is an Exmark mower. Beautiful piece of machinery, probably more impressive than Ish Monroe's Ferrari, and that's the grand prize. But the runner-up prize, the first prize of this contest, is a fishing trip with me on none other than the Delaware River. Pete,
Wow.
don't worry. I'm not going to give any of your spots away. I'm going to take the winner to all my C-level spots. I won't give any of the A or B spots away. But we're going to have a great trip. So I want everybody to check out the Exmark Take Back Your Weekends promotion. Very cool sweepstakes. Very cool sweepstakes going on.
Outstanding.
What else you got? Housekeeping.
Housekeeping? Well, we have the letter from a fan, if you wanted to get into that, or...
I'd like to talk about that. Yeah, let's get into that. And let me mention, haven't mentioned it yet tonight, that fan interaction is a very important part of Ike Live. We want to hear from you. And there are so many ways now to give us your feedback. Of course, right there next to your screen, to the right of your screen, we have our IM instant feedback system. Let us know what you're thinking. J3 is in control of IM, so let J3 know what you're thinking right now. Of course, you could always hit us up on the social media sites. And now we have our own Ike Live social media sites. So Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, hit us up. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what you have to think about the show and think about some of these topics. But, Bri, go ahead. Parlay on to a letter we got from a fan of Ike Live. Really cool. I want to hear about this.
All right. So we got this letter this week from a big fan of yours, and I'll read it. It's a bit long, so bear with me here. This is from Ryan Teach, and he's from Gays Mill, Wisconsin. Mr. Iaconelli, a.k.a. Ike Endor Foundation. First and foremost, thank you for your time and energy creating and maintaining the Ike Foundation. Please see the accompanying package and put it to good use. I will continue to donate and vow pledge to introduce others to the sport of fishing, most importantly bass fishing. I am a devout Ike Live listener as I recently became a member of the iWorld. I wait for the new podcast to be released and have listened to already to all of the archived episodes. Yourself, Pete, and the others put together a very enjoyable podcast that brightens my day. Also, I recently subscribed to Bass University and enjoy that equally, if not more, than Ike Live. Wow. I made a semi-irrational career change 2 years ago. I left a comfortable corporate desk job for my family business, Sunrise Orchards in Wisconsin. With my mother being diagnosed with late-stage lung cancer, my wife and I sold our home and moved to fill in as she became less involved in the business. Aspects of our orchard farm in general can be mind-numbingly boring, round-the-clock hours spent in a tractor cab listening to the radio, pruning thousands of trees by hand in the winter months, or hours spent operating a lift truck during harvest time. After leaving the fast-paced corporate world, these activities leave you thinking. So this is what they call career suicide. Combine this with the daily roller coaster of dealing with a parent diagnosed with cancer, a person's attitude has a tendency to overwhelm them. As I mentioned above, my mother's health condition requires that she undergo a treatment much like chemo every 3 weeks. This treatment is a phase 3 clinical trial that is breaking new ground in the cancer world, specifically with melanoma and lung cancer, two cancers I feel affect fishermen the most. During her treatments, I use Bass U episodes to keep hers and minds off the situation, as well as bits and pieces of swindle YouTube clips. Beyond the Bass U PMA episode, which is our absolute favorite. Please relay to everyone at Ike Live, the Bass University, your episodes serve as much more than just fishing seminars. Keep up the good work. Pretty awesome.
Wow.
With the above said, I have 3 suggestions for the Ike Live show. I am an avid Bass Cat fan, former champion owner. I recently sold my Cougar FTD for a caracal. That I should take delivery of in 2 weeks. Blah, blah, blah. This is my second rig from a mutual friend, Sherman Truss at Sherm's Marine. Rick Pierce would be an excellent guest for the show to clear up the BS around the sale. Yeah, we talked about having Rick Pierce on.
Did.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did.
We did. Sorry.
There you go. So I thought that was interesting. In my area in north, the smallmouth bass are getting blamed for the walleye population decline. Demographically, northern Wisconsin and Minnesota in general are labeling the smallie as a criminal. This has led to a number of gutted fish float on the surface of walleye diehards. I could go on, but it's getting to the point of stupidity. Recently in the past, however, Fish and Wildlife has come out to say that poor management is the cause of the walleye decline. I feel that Pete, Mr. Smallmouth, could shed some light on this situation to the ill-informed, a potential hot topic. Which I thought it was a good topic.
Yeah,
something I had never
great
heard
topic.
about.
We got to research it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know about, specifically how that's going to affect the decline of the walleye, but you always see that, every time there's a decline in one species, people want to blame that other species, but they have to find their equilibrium, and this is just a process that they have to go through. We're going to talk a little bit about the smallmouth situation on the Susquehanna, with it, coming up here on one of our hot topics, but man, what a great letter! I thank you very much.
And here's the final point that he makes, or his final suggestion for the show, which is absolutely my favorite. Lastly, what is Brian the Carpenter's, a.k.a. Ding Dong, a.k.a. Perch Jerker's deal with the Packers? Hate us or not, we're a dynasty and a storied franchise. Your birds haven't had a good year since Donovan McNabb was throwing the football and plugging chunky soup. Why the hate? Blah, blah, blah. It goes on.
When'd you hate the Packers?
It was you.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? What'd I do to them?
You just hating on Aaron Rodgers and
Wow.
yeah.
I don't even remember.
So you got me a new name.
Ding Dong?
Dong Perch Jerker.
AKA Ding Dong, AKA Perch Jerker.
But hey, what a great letter. And he said
That's a great letter.
Yeah.
That's a great letter. I think that's great to hear. That's I think typical of a lot of our fans, man. It's it's great to see that the show is it's doing what we want it to do, man. It's making people feel good. It's entertaining people. It's educating people. People are getting a lot of different stuff from our show, which is really cool. That makes me feel good. And great suggestions, by the way. Thank you for all those suggestions. I got to tell you, the smallmouth suggestion, we need to look into that, because on Lake Mille Lacs, which is way up there in Minnesota, there's a very similar issue there, where the walleye populations are going down, and what they did there, and this is being done by the state, the DNR, is that they lowered the keeper limit for smallmouth to like 10 inches. So, there you have the state agency trying to get rid of smallmouths because they think it's hurting the walleye population. It's pretty interesting to hear about those topics. So we'll look into that, and I think that's a great letter, and we appreciate that. And I'd love to hear more of that stuff. It's awesome.
Well, I tell you, is Becky nearby?
She's outside. You want me to flag her down?
Well, no, just that she got some commentary from my Facebook crowd and my community this week. One of my customers in particular went back and listened to the last episodes, one where you were in the hospital, and commented that Becky Iaconelli is the greatest guest of any guest that we've had on Ike Live, bar none.
Wow.
Yes. She is
I have to tell her that.
She is the greatest guest, and she did a great job when
She did.
when she
did a
was
great job.
telling us what was happening with you.
I gotta tell you real quick. I'm actually getting really weirded out looking at myself like this.
yeah, it's pretty creepy.
Is it weird? Is it creepy? Is it as creepy as it looks?
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
starting to creep myself out.
Yeah.
Two-Face.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, looking a little two-faced there.
Becky, you had an amazing comment that from a fan that you were the single best Ike Live guest ever. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Another fan commented that not only was Becky a great guest, but he loved learning about how Becky traverses the country, takes care of the family, how the whole behind-the-scenes thing takes place in your family, and wished that when we had other guests on, that we would talk to their wives and learn more about their lives.
Yeah, but so long as they're attractive. Do you think if Becky was average or ugly, anyone would say anything? She's a pretty girl. Of course, everything she says is interesting. Give me a break with that, the
Now I'm
Pete
just a
Facebook
pretty
fans.
face.
Get out of here. Sick everyone, and they're so smart,
It's a good
smartest
thing
guy in the
I love
room.
you, Dave.
Well, that was a compliment, Beck, but it's the truth.
That was a compliment.
You know?
I mean, it was a compliment that I was pretty, but that made me only interesting because I was pretty.
No, you're right. I got to back up on that. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. But do you think a guy who watches a fishing show to watch Mike talk cares about anything we say or have to do with like pulling boats or backing boats up. No, you're an attractive, very attractive woman. So therefore, he's sitting there watching episode 19.
I dispute.
I dispute the logistics of this lifestyle.
There are, and I got to tell you, unofficially, we're eventually going to do an Ike Live show that's based around. We talked about this.
Yeah.
It's based around the families of bass fishing. You know, we don't have this set in stone yet, but we talked about having, you know, the wives, the kids, you know, like the Hibdens, you know, have them come on and talk about this life as a family.
Yeah.
It'd be a really interesting topic. But I want to spin this real quick. And
But
now
this is what your kids look like on the road. Show them your chocolate face.
Oh yeah, chocolate face. That's what they look like. But yeah, there's your face too. Okay, Steph. But now that we're talking about this, I want to mention that we're in Lake Havasu, and I want Becky to tell the story about the nudity issues here at Lake Havasu. Would you all like to hear about the nudity issues here at Lake Havasu?
I don't think anyone's going to call them issues.
No, they're not issues, but I feel like this is an interesting topic that we should address.
It needs
So
to
go
be
ahead,
addressed.
Becky, you take this.
I believe
Well,
we should.
this is a big spring break party town from what we've learned. Well, we knew that. We all knew that. But I don't think we understood the logistics of having a party town. And most people go to Mexico for spring break, crazy places, and strip their clothing off, and it's not an issue. But apparently in Arizona, if you are arrested for indecent exposure, nudity, you've got your top off, showing your tatas, you're immediately put on the offender list.
How about that?
So,
How about that?
you got to wear your pasties.
Pasties.
Yeah, no issues if you wear your pasties.
Pasties are huge here. It's
Apparently, 3-piece pasties.
3-piece pasties. Brian, what do you make of 3-piece pasties?
Isn't there 4 pieces though?
What do you make of that?
I guess it's a good thing. I like it.
That actually horrifies me. I have to be honest.
That you're a sex offender? That's
holes
a
that aren't
gross.
covered.
Yeah, but to label you as a sex offender, that's just the
That's
government
ridiculous.
is just yeah.
It was never meant for that. It was
No,
never
it wasn't
meant
meant for that. No, some old people need to be drowned.
Yeah, well, the good
Stepped
news
on.
is, and you know, we're always
Well,
taking.
so I'm not on the sex offender list this week because I wore my pasties.
She did wear a pasties. So we're always
Any pictures? Pictures?
Yeah, picker, it's a
we're
lie.
always looking at how to turn a negative into a positive, and we've decided here at Ike Live that we're going to create Ike Live pasties for the next spring.
Nice.
So
With beards or without
it's
beards?
actually going to be Pete's face on a little sticker.
No, they're going to be Pete's face on one nipple and Mike's face on the other.
Oh, and Dave.
And Dave's on the
Dave, you get the
third.
vagina.
Well, at least I got that. That leaves the red eye for Stockel.
Red.
That's the 4-piecer.
You never been? Hold on.
Whoa. First of all, why are we talking about this? And what the hell's a red eye?
You never been red-eyed?
All right, next.
No, it's a funny thing. So if you trick someone into looking at a picture on your phone, but it's a picture of your butthole, and you're like, dude, I got this smoking hot picture of this chick. She lives next to
my
me.
God.
And you show them the picture, and you red eye them with your own. You guys ever heard of that? Where do you guys work?
Where do you work?
Obviously, someplace weird.
I thought it was brown.
That's what Dave does in his spare time.
Getting the right red eye selfie.
If the picture's close enough, if it's like a super close up, you wouldn't be able to tell a butthole from a crater, like a moon crater. You
Who's
just wouldn't even
Brian's?
know the difference.
Maybe that's true.
Did you see?
Asteroid?
We have to stop.
Yeah, we better.
We have to.
Wait, but before we leave the naked topic, didn't you see some naked dude fishing at the Delta?
I did. Another great story. Thank you, Pete, for bringing that up. For those of you that don't know, add on to the list of strange
We
and
have a
bizarre things that have happened to me in the last few weeks. The first day on the California Delta, running back up through Sacramento, and I'd say I was within 10 miles of downtown Sacramento. I had a sighting, and it was a naked fishing sighting. Very rare. I've been doing this professionally now for 17 years.
Very rare.
I got to tell you, it's one of the few times I've seen full nudity. Unfortunately, and I got to admit this, unfortunately, it was not a female. It was a male. But it was crazy because I'm running, and from about a half a mile away, I see a white, shiny white target up on the bank on this beach. And as I'm getting closer, I'm like, God, that looks like an ass. I mean, it just looks like one. And I'm getting closer, and sure enough, as I get within eyesight of it, it is indeed a butt. And it, unfortunately, like I said, it's a dude fishing off a beach, full nudity. I mean, nothing on, top, bottom, nothing. Just out there, just spinning rod, just casting away in the nude. It's California. What else can I say?
Was he at least impressive?
Once I saw that it was a dude, I kind of you kind of at first you're excited because you see like the butt,
free nudity.
Ooh, and Brian knows what I'm talking about on this one. You see the buttocks and you're kind of like, oh, this could be. And then when you realize that it's a dude, you're like, you're kind of like, oh God, kind of burns you, So I don't know the impressiveness, but.
That's the biggest problem with nudists. Like, they're never impressive either way. The guy or the girl, they're just always average or below average, running around, throwing it in your face. I don't know. Sorry.
I had a guy on the Susquehanna, and he was at a campground.
Ooh.
And he comes out, and he's standing there, and he's taking a leak, but he's facing me, and I'm fishing up the bank, and I'm like, you get tuned in, you're like, what is that guy doing? And you get closer, you're looking. Oh, he's full frontal, right? Dude, he was proud as could be. I'm like, you guys have problems.
Not if you got to be lasered in like Pete Glusek. Mike, Pete was covering the Delaware River for you.
Oh, my God. Great story.
And Brian and I were following Pete around. I think at this point you had lost everyone.
No, he was still there at Riverside.
Okay, it was a Riverside, yes.
Riverton.
So Pete has the Bassmaster camera on him, and he's doing his underwater coverage. I wheel around to the backside with my trolling motor and fully expose myself to Pete. Being the professional that Pete was, he never. Now I don't know about me. I don't know if that reflects badly on me, but he never even looked like he was just lasered in on that camera. There was no way he could miss it. I stood there longer than I was ready for him to see it, and I had to give it up. I had to give it up, man.
That's amazing. That Pete is a true professional.
He is.
I mean, even when he sees Polish kielbasa right in front of him, he just keeps going.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
good job, Pete.
Thank you. I do what I can.
All right. Hey, you know what? We can get away from the nude wiener talk. Mike, you had turned me on to watching.
Nice
turned me
segue.
on to watching Bass Live, dude. The live coverage of the events. Let's get into that.
It's pretty awesome. And let me real quick give you two different spins on it. And the first one is it's very flattering, and I want to take full credit for what Bassmaster is doing with Bassmaster Live. I think they're thoroughly copying the success of IKE Live, but it's flattering. So thank you guys for doing that.
Thank you guys. And they're doing a pretty damn good job.
Yeah, exactly. The second
amazing.
take on it is it's very, very addicting.
Oh, my God.
I can tell you, I watched it for the first time on the Delta, and even on that event, which was slow from a standpoint of fish catching standards, I couldn't stop watching it. I wanted to just see everything they were doing through 10 minutes of watching Aaron not catch a fish. I just wanted to keep watching them. It's a very amazing way to watch the sport. I think it's groundbreaking. I think it's game changing.
Absolutely.
I think that is the future of the sport. I think that's how you're going to get a huge contingency of people that enjoy fishing but don't like watching it to participate. To see what's happening live, the unexpected nature of that, not knowing what's going to happen next. On any cast, it could be a 10-pounder. On any cast, guy could lose a fish, could win the tournament. That's exciting. And I think the potential of what that live coverage is doing is very exciting for the sport of fishing. What do you guys think about it?
Hey, real quick, we got a comment from Bobby Lane. He wanted to know, was the naked guy Skeet Reese?
No, the naked guy wasn't Skeet Reese.
And it might not have been Bobby Lane, but he says he is. Anyhow.
And then we had another guy. He wants to know if he can get a never give up. He wants your never give up.
He can have it.
I don't think that's what he's looking for.
He can have never give
Ask
up.
Marizo. He stole it.
Yeah, Marizu stole it, so this guy can steal it back from Marizu.
I think he wanted to hear you say it.
Except that in Japanese, it's not never give up. It's like "Ungai Oda," like that or something.
There you go.
There, you
Right.
got it.
That was excellent.
You got it.
Kumaso yo guy.
All right. Well, I tell you, I want to comment about Bassmaster Live. If you guys are done talking about nakedness and all
Okay.
the other stuff, but
Make it quick. Go ahead.
the Bassmaster Live was amazing. I mean, it's who would have thought? You know, like all the fishing shows over the years, right? Got these heavy duty production companies. They film for 3 days to get fish catches to compress into a 30-minute show, and now here comes because nobody wants to watch people not catch fish.
Lies.
Right? And now Bassmaster is doing the live thing where it's all not catching fish.
Dude, it's ruining my weekends, man.
It's
No
pressure.
doubt.
Yeah.
It's why it's the anticipation, just like we do when we're fishing. I mean, that anticipation of the strike. What's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? Watch these guys just cast after cast. Oh, that's where it's just waiting for the next one. Watching them melt down, like when they lose a big fish. Watching them stroke them, like when Aaron started getting on that bird pattern and flipping those giants out of the toolies.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
I mean, just the persistence, cast after cast with no results, and I cannot stop watching.
I know.
And I think I
Addictive.
think the public's the same way. Who would have thought not catching fish would be so amazing?
Even better than that, Bass,
Yeah.
that whole time, had two of the greatest voices and personalities to do it. I mean, those guys are awesome as they're narrating what's going on. It's like that's what they were beyond the show that's on TV, which is outstanding. Those guys are perfect for that. Like I always think I'm
Oh, they were good.
some
They're real
central
good.
casting guy that they should put him there or that guy should be doing. Dude, no one can do it better than those two
They got
guys,
good
man. They
chemistry.
are awesome.
Yeah.
They're like the Ike
They
and
do-
Pete of, a poor
They
man's
do
Ike
live
and Pete.
coverage.
that other
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
They do a great job. And I could tell you, I think one of the big things for me, and I think for a lot of people, and it changes our sport, because before the live coverage, you always knew the result before you got to watch it, right? You knew who won the Classic. A week later, you got to watch the Classic show. It was like, it was like anticlimactic, right? You knew who the winner was,
Right.
but you have to wait a week to watch it.
Yep.
Now, you're watching this guy win or lose as it happens.
Yep.
And that's a sporting event, right? That's
that's sports.
the UFC, that's football, that's baseball, that's NASCAR. You're watching the shit go down live, as it's happening. And I think that's a huge.
Yes.
Huge.
That's a huge hurdle that they had to try to overcome. I mean, they tried
Yes.
it years back with the megabucks making pockets where the fans could sit in stands and watch. That didn't work. They finally figured the way. And this is going to just
The
get
technology is caught
Well,
up.
that's what
technology
it is.
caught up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the internet. The internet made
Yeah.
this available because you couldn't do it before. You had
Yeah.
to produce and edit those films. It just couldn't be done.
Yeah, it's-
now with
And
the
by
live
way,
streaming broadcast.
I know for a fact that Bass did steal this concept from us, because I heard officially that one of the top guys at Bass said, "Hey, if those scrubs at Ike Live and Brian the Carpenter can do it, we can do it." So,
Absolutely.
Well, I want
No
to see
doubt about
more
it.
of it. I want to see more of it. And the 4 hours that they do is not enough for me.
No.
You
And they
know?
also need to move the tournaments like Monday through Thursday so I can watch it at work the entire time I'm there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And move the damn times back.
Yeah, 'cause that was
so you
killing
can come
me,
home
dude.
from work and watch it.
Yeah.
And I talked to Fletcher Shryack at the Classic, and he talked about, like, what sense does it make that why do we always have to launch in the dark, at 5:30, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock a.m. when and people can't make it there for, to watch the boat. Why are the weigh-ins not when people get home from work, on Thursday and Friday? So
Yeah, why? Yeah, Mike,
They-
that is a good question. Why do the times always have to be so incredibly early? Why
They
can't
don't
it just-
have to be. They
why
can
can't
move
it
them
alter?
back.
Why can't you have a?
Didn't they try it? They tried
they
it.
did. They tried it back when we had the E50s, which I want to say was like 2004, 2005, 2006. They used it in E50s, and it was tremendous. It was so amazing. The crowds at the weigh-ins were so much bigger. The attitudes from people, I mean, they were awesome. I mean, we launched at like 9 or 10 o'clock. We weighed in at like 5, 6 when people were out of work.
Perfect.
It was phenomenal. I loved it.
Why'd they discontinue that?
Old people.
Yeah, old people and their
Don't
rules and
know.
laws.
Tradition, I don't know.
Well, a lot of the anglers press because there is that window of the morning bite, right? When that sun comes up, I mean, there's that morning bite, and the pressure to succeed from the anglers to capture that morning bite is probably
There's an evening
maybe
bite.
There's some pressure there.
Nah, good job though, Bass. Man, took the sport
job.
exactly where it needed to go.
Yeah.
I mean,
Pretty awesome.
I got something else about that I think is pretty damn special that I didn't expect about this Bass Live thing, is how it showcases the personalities. Watching Aaron Martens was the most amazing thing.
Yeah.
Of all the anglers that I've seen so far, and I'm an addict. You know, if I'm not out fishing myself, I'm watching this program and listen to Aaron just comment about how he's performing, what he thinks the fish are doing, how he's trying to trigger the strikes, what other people are missing, and his insight into things, and how he gets giddy as a schoolgirl when he triggers one of those biggers, those big ones, like when he caught that 5-pounder that's eating the blackbirds. He was like getting giddy, like nobody else knows this. You know, this is my secret little deal.
I was more impressed with Edwin Evers, how calm he was.
Yeah.
Just like a sniper and not getting upset, watch the missing strikes.
Nah, he dropped a lot of dad gummits.
Yeah.
I heard a dozen dad gummits during that tournament. I would have tried to, throw that into my repertoire. Maybe it'll.
I remember the first time I heard a dadgummit, I was fishing on Sandy Cooper. And it's the first time I heard Over Yonder used. I thought just Yosemite Sam said that stuff. I didn't know that is actually a repertoire down there, dude. That's part of people's anger. Like, dadgummit. And then they go, they got to go over yonder. Like, it's the first time I heard it was down there, dude. I'm like, wow.
That's funny.
Well, this shit is real.
It is real. And they do say that. That's funny. But but I watched Lucas, and we're going to have Justin on tonight, but he missed a 4-pound smallmouth at Havasu. And you could that drama, man, like of him trying to shake that, he broke that fish off for some reason, and he just tried to shake it, and for an hour he was like, just talking himself out of it, like there's big fish in the area, I can get another bite. Just listening to him try to manage that. That feeling. It's the hardest thing in fishing to overcome is losing a big fish.
I'm going to suggest to him tonight when he's on, he should have just broke a rod in 2 pieces and impaled a guide in his finger. It would have got rid of it a lot quicker.
That's what I was going to say,
so.
Mike. Do you think Bass would want this new technology having captured that moment with you as early as it is right now, or not having captured it?
It's all gold, man.
Yeah, I would love to.
I think it's good. I think it's good. I mean, I think everybody has their own personality, and I think that's what grows the sport. I think, I try to be myself out there. I don't want to not be who I am, and I'd like this. I'd like to see that. Like I said, I like to see Aaron. I like to see Rain Man talking.
Yeah.
I like to see Justin Lucas. I like to see Bobby Lane. I like to see all these guys, and they're all different. They all handle stuff different. They all have different attitudes, different personalities. That's great. That's what grows the sport.
Yes, absolutely.
They better put the camera on a higher pedestal with Tommy Biffle, or they're going to see him hanging brain because they have that thing low. Let me show my brain.
All right, hey, let me remind everybody real quick. Let me jump in. We now have IKE Live social media sites. Hit us up on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. Submit your photo tonight of you watching IKE Live. The best photo tonight, submit it. Hashtag Watch IKE Live will win a Tackle Warehouse gift pack. So don't forget to do that. We want to see your picture. Whatever it is, we want to see your picture of you watching IKE Live. Brian the Carpenter?
Yes, sir.
What do you want to do? I think we should get ready to get Justin on the phone soon.
Absolutely.
How do you feel about that?
I think we're absolutely ready to do that.
I did want to mention something, Mike, that we talk a lot about bass and the elites and all that kind of stuff, but there's a big deal that just happened on the FLW deal, on the FLW Rayovac scene, where my friend Ray Hanselman has won 3 events in a row. Yes. 3 consecutive events, absolutely dominating the Texas Rayovac tournament trail, winning these things by 10 pounds.
Wow.
How's he doing that?
You know, I haven't talked to him. I wanted to give him a call and maybe have him on at some point, but I really don't know. But I've seen he's just on a roll. Like, who else has won 3 in a row of anything?
Well, no one ever has.
Roland Martin. I think Roland Martin way back won 3 in a row. And as far as I know, that's the only one.
There's been a couple Rayovacs back to back.
Several back-to-backs.
Yeah.
Elite back-to-backs. There's been several back-to-backs, but triples, that was impressive. But I think he won at Amistad. He won at Toledo Bend, I'm guessing, or what's the neighboring one to Toledo Bend?
Do you think he's tying up fish or stuffing weights down their throats?
Yeah, nah, man. He's just killing it.
I fished with him. We were paired together at the Texas Bass Classic, the original one. He's a great angler. Been guiding down at Amistad for years. Not surprised he's doing well, but 3 in a row, man, that's amazing.
I read about that last one that he won, and it was pretty cool because he was pretty still humble about it. And he said, I forget what he said, but either the wind blew really bad or something. Something happened that changed the event for the worse for everybody else, but it flipped it for him. And he was like, had that weather not turned that way and made it so hard for everybody else, he said, I would not have won.
Wow. Yeah. That's impressive.
Mike, we're only running about 10 minutes over where we were at. Do you want to cover the FLW DQs at all and get your thoughts on that?
Yeah, let's talk about it for 5 minutes real quick. Yeah, I mean, I think let's talk about it, especially I bet you a lot of the Ike Live viewers and listeners don't know about it, Dave. So fill everybody in real quick, because there were 2 big DQs in the same event, right? The Beaver Lake Tour event?
Yeah, what we had was we had Rose. Rose got DQ'd for leaving his boat abandoned. His boat had either broke down or ran out of gas, and he needed to get a ride back in. And he got the ride back in, and he was disqualified because he didn't secure his boat. His entire bag was disqualified because he didn't secure his boat. Now, I understand some type of penalty has to be given out, but does everything have to be just so severe? Every rule you break, DQ.
Right.
Your bag's gone for the day.
Right,
no other sport, like if you hold someone in football, you don't get thrown out of the game. If you check someone in the face in hockey, you go sit in a box for a few minutes and you get out.
Right.
Like in our sport, you're gone. You're done. Go home.
Right?
You know?
I mean, especially that. Like, he didn't blatantly cheat or commit a violation. Like,
or gain an advantage. He didn't gain an advantage.
In an emergency situation, in a state of panic probably, he didn't fully secure his boat, and he lost his full day's catch. Yeah, that's not right. I don't think that's right. It really surprises me that happened, because Mark Rose is kind of the poster child for FLW, right?
Yeah. Well,
he's always listed on the FLW stuff as Walmart Pro Mark Rose, never just Mark Rose.
Well, if I'm Mark Rose,
Pro.
if I'm Mark Rose, it limits my suspects. You know, who's higher on the food chain to me? There's not very many. You know, it's had to be one of those guys. Because I bet you if I protested Mark Rose, they'd be like, "Who? Don't ever come back." You know, who are you? Don't ever come back again. So, and the name of the other angler is escaped me. Bride, do you remember his name? The other guy from FLW that got disqualified. Do you remember his name? The one for fishing the dock that was marked private.
I don't remember.
All right, so there was another angler, Pete and Mike, that was in a cove of docks, and a bunch of the docks had private property signs on them. Yeah. And this angler didn't fish any of them. He fished a dock in the back that wasn't marked. That's not being disputed. The fact that when he was driving back to the dock, his bait was in the water, and he just like cruised by the private docks, he was disqualified from what I understand because his bait was in the water. Completely preposterous. Not only that, Mike, hold on. He wasted 2 hours of one of his mornings to take the tournament director to show him where he was fishing, that he wasn't fishing private docks. And I guess
Right.
upon reviewing some tape, they figured that his bait was sitting in the water while he was going back to that dock. That constituted fishing. And his whole bag's wiped
Right.
out.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it's another one, Dave, where, I got to tell you that I think they need to restructure some of these things. I mean, once again, what did he do wrong? I mean, did he really, interpretation of the rule there? Like he didn't do anything wrong. How many times have we all been out there tournament morning?
Yeah.
Right? Or right after the tournament, and we real quick test the crankbait to make sure it's running straight.
Yeah.
Or we throw a swim bait out to make sure the tail's moving right. Technically, we're fishing when we're not supposed to be fishing, and we could be DQ. But it's obvious that we're not. That's another one of those scenarios. I mean, that to me is FLW not wanting to step up and take responsibility for making decisions. That's a tournament director's. Nothing against tournament director there, because I like him and know him, and he's a great guy. But both of those examples, I think, are poor examples of DQs.
But even
they shouldn't have been full DQs, in my opinion.
A worse slippery slope than that is, say you don't how many times do we have rods hanging over the side of the boat and the bait's dragging in the water and we're casting our other rod? Does that constitute 2 lines in the water now? Because by the definition that disqualified this guy, they said he was technically fishing because his bait was in the water. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just terrible.
Well, Lake Champlain is a great example of that. I don't know if you remember the 1999 when I won Lake Champlain, BASS Top 150. Pete, you remember this event.
I
We were all there
remember. I know
together.
what you're going to say. Yep.
Yeah, on the last day, I'm fishing a jerkbait, and then I had a tube rigged for fish that would follow. And I've got all these smallmouth fired up. And I'm jerking. I got a 3-pounder following it. So I quick wheel the jerkbait in. I lay it down. I go over to grab my tube, and I hear a splash. And I turn around, still with my tube in my hand, and a smallmouth had come up and smashed the jerkbait on the top of the. It was laying on the top of the water, and I grabbed the rod one hand, swung the fish in, and landed it. And it was a 3-pounder, but I didn't know whether it was legal or not. So I had to let the thing go. I let the thing go. I was catching them every other cast, so it didn't matter at that point. But
Wow.
that's another one of those scenarios. You
Well, and we have Justin on the line, and I just one final thought is I dispute some of the DQs and the penalties that FLW is doing, but FLW has been criticized in the past for not acting on DQs. And, guys that were furious because guys should have been disqualified and weren't. And it seems like they're trying to run a tighter ship. I applaud them for that. I like your point. Not everything has to be drop your whole catch.
Yeah.
Right? I love what Bass did with 6 fish in a live well. You get a 2-pound penalty, not getting wiped out for the.
Yeah, have levels, right?
Tiers,
have
exactly.
levels
Yeah,
of penalties.
I think that's the next phase. I really do.
Yeah. Have a weight reduction. Have a delay in your start time the next day. Have the guy depantsed and you could spank him in the tush. There's all sorts of things you can do.
Smack it up.
Real quick, before we get to Justin, who I know is on the phone, I looked at my phone, and on our IM, we had a submission for our Watch Ike Live photo from Poker Fishing. And this is a pretty good one because not only is he watching Ike Live in a room with polka dots, but he's on the hopper taking a dump.
With a beer.
With a beer.
Who took the pick?
He may be the winner. I don't want to say, but that's a pretty good one.
That is
He
a
may
good
be
one.
the winner.
Who took the pick? That's a good question.
I don't know who took the pick. That's kind of kinky.
Ooh.
All right, so let's, with no further ado, let's get him on the line. And real quick, before we get him on the phone, let me let everybody know that I finished my Corona, and I've now went to a margarita. A mocktail.
Mocktail.
With no further ado, we have him on the phone. Brian the Carpenter, he's on the phone.
Yes, sir.
Joining us via phone, we're going to find out where he's at, is the champion winner of the next to last event on the California Delta, good friend of the show, amazing young angler, Justin Lucas. Justin Lucas, everybody.
What's up?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm not on that tequila yet, but you know.
Okay, where are you at? Are you still in Lake Havasu City, or did you begin your journey home?
I'm in. I stopped by Phoenix today to check out the Rigid Industries factory, and I'm hanging out with Josh Bertrand. And we just got done golfing at a really cool driving range called Talk Golf. Cool place.
Very, very nice. Very nice. I got to tell you, I mean, we're going to be talking a lot about it, but I got to tell you, man, you're having an amazing season. You've quite frankly dominated out here in the West, which everybody kind of had a feeling you would. But man, what was it like to win on the Delta? I mean, I want to jump right into that because I can close my eyes. We were just talking about Lake Champlain when I won way back in 1999. That was my first big victory on the bass side, and it was life-altering for me. It was such an amazing feeling to win at that level. Talk to us a little about how that feels, because you're still riding the high. I know you are. How did that feel? How does it feel now for you?
Dude, it really hasn't even started to sink in, you know, because we went straight to Havasu after the Delta. But when I started driving this morning, and I'm like, I don't have to get up to go fishing finally. Not that that's a bad thing. It's a good thing. But I had the trophy sitting there in the front seat, and I'm you know, starting to make the trek back to Alabama. And thinking about what had just happened over the last 2 weeks. And, you know, this is my 6th year fishing as a pro, man. And I keep telling everybody the same thing, that I am so happy that I never won another tournament before the one at the Sacramento River, dude, because for that to be my first one, you know, it was an emotional, passionate, amazing victory for me, dude, that, you know, it's so perfect that if you had to write a book about it, that's the one that you would write.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's crazy, dude. It's unbelievable. You know, I grew up riding on a school bus on the river road where you saw those cars running up and down the river as we're driving down, and I'm driving my boat, you know, 20 years later past the same signs that I, you know, was riding on the school bus looking at, going to school every day, looking at that river. And
that's crazy.
You know, there's no way I could have ever imagined that to happen.
That's amazing. Later. That's amazing. What a cool story. And I can Justin, I can really relate to that, because very similar situation from last year in the Delaware, you know, and
for
exactly what you're saying, I felt on the Delaware River. And I noticed it too. I got to tell you, I noticed it in your fishing. We were talking earlier before you got on. We were talking about how the live coverage has really changed the sport, and I was glued to the live coverage when you won at the Delta. I couldn't stop watching it.
Really?
And I was really impressed by your ability to just move around a lot, to fish very calm and confident. Talk to me a little bit about how you did that, because you didn't fish one area all week. You moved around a lot. You used a little bit of your history, and you fished calm. What instilled some of that on you? I mean, was that just having knowledge of the fishery, or were you just dialed, or how did that come about?
Mike, it was such a weird deal, man, because the first 2 days of practice, I probably put 400 miles on my boat, checking all these old spots, and I said I was going to go there and not do that. And the first 2 days of practice, I never caught a fish over 4 pounds. And finally, the last day of practice, I was like, dude, you have got to figure something out. You know there's big dead fish right now. You know of a couple areas where they always, you know, the hard bottom never changes. So I knew a couple areas that were going to have good bed fish no matter what. But I had to figure out how to catch a 3.5 or 4 pound. And I went out west, you know, way out west, further than anybody else probably went. And, you know, really concentrated on trying to get bites that first half of the day of, you know, the last practice. And I shook off like 11 fish total that morning. And I knew they weren't the great big giant ones, but they were 2.5 to 4 pound fish. And that gave me the confidence to use that and then go to the central and east delta where I knew the big, big bed fish were at, clearer water. I could see them on the lower tide. And so I stayed on the low tide further out west and then just followed it east. And you know the tides, man. You fish the Delaware and all that stuff. It helps so much just to understand the basics of it. And growing up fishing around that stuff, you understand how it moves in and out. And I was just able to put it all together, but it's still unexplainable, dude. I mean, it's just, I look back on it, I'm like, I don't know how you did that, dude, but it's so badass that you did it.
It's awesome, and I got to tell you, like I said, you've put yourself in a position now. Is your mindset changing a little bit now, Justin? Because you've got a win, you've got another couple top 12s. You were right there in almost every event. Is your mindset changing now from wanting to win an event now to AOY? Are you thinking that at all in your mind, or are you just trying to keep doing what you're doing?
I'm trying to keep doing what I'm doing. My goal every year since I've been a professional is to make the championship. And I've never set a goal to win a tournament because you never know when that's going to happen. It took me 6 years. You just don't know when those are going to come. So I don't want to say that, I don't want to let myself down and say, if you don't win a tournament in these next 2 years, you're not doing good enough. And so I never set that goal. My goal has always been to be consistent, make a championship, and a win is going to come when it's going to come. And I would be lying if I wasn't thinking about AOY, but I also know that it's only the halfway point, and I don't have enough points yet to be qualified for the Bassmaster Classic. So I haven't even reached my first goal, and right. That's once I get enough points and make that. Then maybe I'll start thinking about that. But, more so rather. I mean, I'm definitely thinking about it. But when you look at the guys that, I'm with right now, Rojas, Aaron, Clifford Perch is having an amazing season. But Aaron's the one that, man, I love Aaron. Great guy, incredible fisherman. And I looked up to him and basically built my whole career off of the way he did things. Yeah, growing up in California and making a living out there, moving to Alabama, I did the same thing. And, it's crazy that I went up against him at the Delta, and it'd be even cooler to go up, against him at the end of the year. But it's only halfway through, man. You can make 350 points halfway through, and you could lose a lot of points halfway through as well. So we have a lot of work left to do, and you know how that is.
Oh, yeah. It's a long season, but you've got the kind of start that you want to have, which is a good thing.
And I don't want to blow that opportunity either. So that's the only thing I'm thinking about. It's like, these don't come around, these kind of opportunities, positions don't come around every year. Don't come around very often at that. And that's the same way I felt driving down the last morning on day 4 at the Delta. You have a 3-pound lead, man. Don't blow this. And if I would be lying if I said I wasn't shivering and shaking at my first spot, before I caught my first fish. Because, dude, I was feeling it. And once I caught the first one, I might have looked calm on camera, but I could feel it until I had my 5. And then when I never really cold up, I was tripping, dude. So, it's a long way, dude. There's so much work to be done, so many fish to be caught that, I'm not going to get my hopes up, but I'm going to work as hard as I can. That's for sure.
That's good. Well, that's a great attitude to have. I want to change topics real quick, Justin, if we can. And I want to talk about, can you tell the fans and viewers and listeners of Ike Live, just go over a couple of the key baits that you used on the Delta. I know a Pit Boss played a part for you. I know a Topwater caught a few fish for you. Talk about those baits. And also, and this is for me personally, I want to know this. I read somewhere, heard somewhere that you used a combination of braid to fluorocarbon on a casting rod when you were fishing at Pit Boss. I want you to talk about that a little bit too, but talk about the baits and talk about that line choice.
My main bait that week. when I started out west, the water's a lot dirtier out there, a lot muddier, and I used a color called Vampire Orange. It's really a black and red color, but just a perfect crawfish imitation color for the West Delta, being that black, and it's got a real bright red in it. It's a beautiful color, and it worked great for me out there. But as soon as I started going west 10 miles or east 10 miles of there, the water cleaned up so much that I had to switch. So I also used a green pumpkin and green. And I don't think that I could have used the same color, once I hit that area, the central and east delta, and had the success that I did. So changing colors was really important as well. And, I used the top water to fill out a limit on day 3. I caught a, 3 key 2.5-pound fish on that. And that was just a small Zara Spook, Super Spook Junior. And, then the rest of my fish, sight fish, just, on some random different baits. I got a box that's just, a sight fishing box, and it's got all kinds of stuff in it. But the braid to fluorocarbon deal, dude, I never have considered myself a great pitcher, flipper, that short encounter type of stuff that Tommy Biffle and Denny Brower are known for. And one thing that's really changed, at least the percentage of fish that I put in the boat, is going to 50-pound trilene professional grade braid. And I do a 2-foot leader, and I do such a short leader because I do 20-pound 100% trilene fluorocarbon, and I tie a crazy Alberto knot. It's the most amazing knot ever to join the 2 lines. But I leave long tag in, so I make sure that the only way that could break is if, the knot will never break as long as I leave the tag ends, and they're never going through the guides because it's only a 2-foot leader.
Right.
But the only way it could ever break is if the 20-pound actually broke. But going to the braids, fluorocarbon, no stretch, sensitive, as it gets. I put all the fish in the boat. I hardly ever miss one, and that braid makes up for a bad hook set position. You know what I mean? If you feel one at the top of the, when you're bringing your bait up and you feel one at the top of your, pulling up, you can make up for that with that braid and have a no stretch. You get a great hook in them every single time. And so for those people out there that are trying to get better at that, that's the number one thing I could tell them. Start trying that braid to fluorocarbon. It's made a world of difference for me.
I love that. I love that combination too, Justin. It's Pete. Man, congratulations. I'm so proud of you. What a great win! It's amazing. And I know Mike asked you what it felt like to be through that experience, but I noticed when I got into that situation myself, I felt differently when I was fishing a winning pattern. I felt calm and relaxed. And Mike commented about that for you, that you seemed calm and relaxed.
I felt like I had a good plan, and that part kept me calm. The part that had me nervous was just knowing that I had an opportunity that doesn't come around often, and I didn't want to blow it. But, dude, when you look back at the plan that I had to save that spot way out west that I knew was untouched, it just turned out perfectly, And Mike knows, and Pete, it hardly ever happens that way. And you can't ever look at 3 or 4 day tournaments and say that's exactly how it's going to play out. But I had 3 days to drive to California, and I was like, man, and I thought about it the whole time. Like, if it worked out that way, I could have a really good tournament. Winning, I don't know about that, but if I could put that together, it would be a great week. And it's just crazy, dude. I still look back on it, and I don't know how it happened and all that. The plan was perfect. It looks amazing, but it's incredible.
Are you going to celebrate? You having a party back home?
We're gonna have some people over, I think. We did right after the Delta. I probably stayed out a little too late after that Sunday. I got to Havasu feeling like a zombie, and I was getting plenty of sleep down there because I was going to bed at 8:00 at night. But man, I'm looking forward to the time at home, getting that trophy on the bookshelf in the living room, and just showing that thing off. That's the most important thing for me. When I look at that trophy, I haven't even thought about the money. I get to check to my wife, here you go. take it to the bank, whatever you want to do. But trophy's staying with me.
It'll never get old. You'll never get tired of looking at that thing. Hey, let me remind everybody that we've got Justin Lucas on the phone. If you want to ask Justin a question, hit us up on IM. Ask your question on instant messaging. You could also hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. We want to hear from you. Ask Justin anything, right? Anything.
Yeah.
What do we got, J3? We got any good questions coming in on IM?
Justin, we got a few questions for you here. It says, can you ask Justin if having Bassmaster live with you on the final day, does that have any negative effects on your fishing?
Good
Great question.
I think that's an awesome question, but no way. I think, as long as I've been around, I think Bassmaster Live is the most incredible thing that's happened to professional bass fishing. And it's exactly, in my opinion, it's exactly what we've needed for so long to grow the sport. And it's amazing the people that I'm hearing from that don't really even follow fishing that are getting on there and watching Bassmaster Live. I mean, it's incredible. Just like, just to me, Iaconelli's glued to it on the last day when I'm fishing. That's crazy, dude. I was watching you at Gunnersville, the tournament before that, on the last day.
We were watching you stink it up at Gunnersville.
We won't talk about that. We don't have to go there. But, I was glued to it, man. I watched you and Steve and everybody, and I'm just sitting there as a fan of the sport going, this is the coolest thing we've ever had. This is what we need. And I think it's going to grow the sport faster and quicker than anything we've had before. And you might disagree with that, but I hope you agree, dude. I bet you think it's incredible.
It's awesome. I mean, from my standpoint, we talked about it before you came on tonight. It's game changing for the sport. It's really going to turn the sport into a different direction, and it's going to grow it like we've never seen. So I love it. I think
agree.
It's great. What else we got? J3? You got any other good questions coming in for Justin?
What was your profession before you went pro?
What wasn't my profession? Let's see. When I was 13, 14, I worked at a pumpkin patch to make money to buy fishing lures. And that was only September, October, so I had to make my money quick. And I couldn't afford much, but it lasted for a little while. And then, I worked at a tackle store. I sold newspaper subscriptions out in front of grocery stores. I did everything I could that would allow me to fish on the weekend. So, and then I went to college for a little while, and we didn't have college fishing when I was around. So, I kind of backed out of that and really went to co-angling, and co-angling was more my college. But now it's awesome. I mean, obviously, if college fishing was around a few years ago, I would have been in that. But I had all kinds of odd-end jobs, any way to make a buck to be able to go fishing on the weekend.
That's awesome. Well, I got a question for you. Now, you just won this tournament. That's great. You had a brilliant top 12 at Havasu, but I noticed I was watching Bass Live, and you lost the smallmouth. You broke one off uncharacteristically, and it's hard to handle. It's the hardest thing in fishing to handle. And we watched you go through the pain and suffering. We were all right there with you. I mean, how do you overcome a lost fish like that? How did you do it at that time?
Dude, honestly, Pete, this is, I really pay attention to the details in my gear. My gear is super important to me. And I feel like the last 3 years, I've steadily grown as an angler, and I feel like a lot of that is you'll hardly ever hear me complain about lost fish, and that's because I honestly believe that the rods that I'm using and the line that I'm using is perfect. But at Havasu, we have and here's the thing: I use Abu Garcia Veracity and Veritas rods. That's all I use, and amazing rods. The problem that I see with so many other rods these days is they're built and they're not strong enough. And what I mean by that is, they're not strong enough to drive a hook home through the mouth and land that fish every time. And I can honestly say that my rods are super, super strong. And I can drive that hook home. I know I'm going to put the hook through their mouth. and get them to the boat. But those mussels at Havasu, you know, I've used trilene. I've landed every single bass in my professional career on trilene. And I bet I could count on one hand, you know, the amount of fish that weren't my fault, you know, so to say, because of the line. And this was one of them. And it wasn't the line. It was, I know I nicked my line on one of those mussels there at some point. And, you know, it was a weak spot that I created. I didn't realize it. But I hooked a 4-pound smallmouth, and it barely, I mean, it started fighting, and then it just, you know, it made one of those 4-pound smallmouth runs, and it busted the line. And I was upset with myself that I didn't realize that, you know, I had a nick there. But sometimes that stuff is just, you know, we don't fish places like that often, so you just don't know.
Well, Mike,
that was a rough one, dude. I was pretty pissed off about that one.
Well,
I weighed 1.5 pounds of that.
Mike suggested that you break a couple rods and impale yourself with, you know, some sharp objects.
Yeah, that.
Well,
that
we
works
all
for
deal
me.
with it differently, you know, and me, it was just one of those things I couldn't stop shaking my head. I mean, you know, it is what it is, man. It happens very, very, very rarely. So, you know, every now and then, it's not the end of the world.
I didn't realize they had mussels at Havasu. What kind of mussels they got out there?
dude.
Zebra masala.
Wagga.
Really?
Wagga.
Yeah, they're all over the cages and
No kidding.
rocks and that kind of stuff. And that fish was in that fish that I lost was in sand and grass. Like absolutely not a thing in the world to break me off on, and broke my line super easy. So I know, you know, I never break fish, dude. It wasn't the line; it was nicking it somewhere else.
Yeah.
So it's not zebra masala?
Zebra masar. Wagga masar.
Quagga masala?
Masar. Wagga
Hey,
masar.
Justin, these guys want to know what part of the West Delta were you fishing?
Dude, top secret.
Next question.
Next question.
No, you know, I fished Sherman Lake, which is, you know, that's a common area. I also fished an area called Collinsville. And the cool thing about Collinsville is it's not a player in any other tournaments out there. That's the thing. Like, it's not, you know, it's so brackish out there, and the fish are northern strain fish. They cannot get, you know, they hardly grow over 3 pounds out there. I mean, a 4-pounder is just a giant. And it was a perfect area to use for a 4-day tournament because of that reason. You know, it doesn't get a lot of attention, no pressure at all, and was just, you know, it was loaded with 2 to 3 pounders. And those, you know, I weighed 16 pounds the last day, and those 3 pounders went a long ways. And on day 4, you know, being a marathon tournament like that, day 4 comes around, and 3 pounders are at a premium, and they're gold. And, you know, to have those, as you know, saved in my back pocket like that, it was a beautiful thing.
Agreed.
Awesome. Awesome. Another guy wants to know, did the fish cages come into play? Was that a
At
factor?
Havasu.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't even, you know, I've never really caught them out of the fish cages. My whole, you know, I fished 5 or 6 tournaments at Havasu. Never really caught them out of the cages until day 3 of this tournament. On day 1 and 2, I ran marinas and I ran shallow stuff and rocks and all that, and I felt like I caught everything that I could. And once day 3 came around, I knew that's how they were catching the big bags, 18, 19 pounds, you know, perch and Takahiro. But I didn't really know how to fish them. I knew where a lot of them were, and I just told myself, it's kind of crazy, but I just told myself on day 3, like, dude, you have nothing to lose. You're in 26th place. You know, you're out of fish and your other stuff. You might as well just go and, you know, try and make it happen on those cages. And by like 10:30 in the morning, I was pitching a drop shot around, and I had 14 pounds by 10:30 in the morning. And the key was not to cast. If I made too long of a cast, I would break my line on the cage when I hooked a fish. If I just pitched it 5 or 10 feet from the boat, I wouldn't break my line, and I'd be able to pull them straight up and get them to the boat every time.
So are you going to now go and buy a Ferrari with your $100,000?
I don't even know if 100,000 buys a Ferrari.
It'll buy part of one. It'll get you started.
I should ask Mike. He's probably got a couple in his garage over there or something. But no, that money's going away. You know, it's going to go away, and just I mean, every time I make money, I'm just like, yeah, that means I can play for a couple more years. You know, that's how I think of it.
That's awesome.
This is a question for Ike and Justin. Of the remaining lakes, which are you most excited for and why?
Ooh, good question.
Go ahead,
That's
Ike.
easy to answer for me. I'm going to say the Upper Bay because it's an hour and 15 minutes from my house, and I know that place very well. So I'm going to say the Upper Bay. Justin?
Justin?
We lost Justin.
Okay.
We may have lost Mike.
Mike, you still there?
I'm still here.
All right. Move on.
What
Did we lose Justin?
Yeah, we seem to have lost Justin. Yep. We officially lost.
Okay, he's out.
He's out.
Next topic. Where are we going?
Can we, Brian the Carpenter, do you want to try to get Justin back on the phone real quick and we can say goodbye to him?
All right,
here,
we'll do that.
or-
Yeah, let's.
Yeah, let's try to get Justin back on the phone. Man, I got to tell you, I am blown away by some of the philosophies that Justin was giving. Amazing. Pete, we said it before. We kind of knew he was going to be a talent before he ever won this event, didn't we?
Well,
I mean, you did.
yeah.
You drew him as a co-angler.
Well,
you knew.
like I said, I saw him as a co-angler. I knew he could catch fish. He could trigger strikes just toe-to-toe with anybody, and I saw that live and in person. What we didn't know was, could he handle the mental part of this game? You know, could he find fish and follow the patterns and have that mental toughness required to do this deal, you know? And, boy, we're seeing it now that he clearly has both.
How old is he?
It's a good question. You know, I don't know. When I drew him out, he seemed in his 20s, and I got to imagine he's in his 30s now. I'm not sure. Maybe we get him back on here. We'll ask him that.
I think we have him back. Justin, do we have you back on the line?
You got me.
Okay,
I
the
heard
question
Chesapeake
was,
Bay from
and
you,
I
Mike.
answered it. It was easy for me. The question was, what fishery are you most looking forward to in the next 4 events? I said the Upper Bay because it's close to my house. But what are you looking forward to with 4 events left?
You know, probably Kentucky Lake, just because I know it's a great swim bait lake, and I can go there and throw that a lot. I got to be honest, dude, the bay scares me a little bit. Never been there. I'm going to spend some time there, but it definitely scares me a little. And, you know, the smallmouth places do too, because, man, those always shuffle everything up. You know, the points change dramatically. Every time you go to St. Clair, anytime you go to Thousand Islands, you know how it is, Mike. Like, you're going to have some big changes up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Well, it's a long way.
Kentucky
It's a
Lake
long
for me.
way. Yeah, I mean, we've got 4 events left. There's still a bunch of season left, so it's exciting. It's exciting.
I got something for him
Justin-
before you hang up. Before we
Yeah, go
wrap
ahead.
this
What do you
up,
got, Brian?
I spoke with Mark Jeffries earlier, and he's very disappointed or very upset with Justin.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, leading up to the Sacramento River, they had Justin called into BTL, Bass Talk Live, Mark's podcast or web show, and Justin disputed with facts the Hall of Fame or the home field advantage factor, and then he went out and won it. Backed up with Aaron going out and smashing them at Havasu. So
I knew that was going to come
yeah,
up.
Mark's ready to re-engage that conversation with you.
Hey,
Well, I mean, he might be right now.
I think
I
you
don't
ruined
think I
your
can
argument,
argue with
man.
him.
I read somebody commented about the tidal river fisheries and how the home field advantage seems to be more powerful on the tidal rivers than the lakes would be. And it sort
would
of
agree
seems to
with
be
that.
the case after the Delaware with Mike and you, Justin, out there on the Delta.
The Potomac would be the exception to probably that statement.
I agree.
The Potomac River.
The Potomac doesn't fish too much like a tidal river. That fish is more because it has such massive grass beds. It seems to be that the tides don't matter as much. But point taken. Point taken. But these guys certainly dominated on their respective home waters, on tidal water.
How come I always lose on the bay if home field advantage
You suck.
works out?
We'll see what's going to happen. The bay's going to be tricky. The bay's going to be real tricky on you guys when you come.
August. Ugh.
True. All right.
Tricky time of the year. Justin, before we let you go, and by the way, thanks for joining us. This has been a crazy 2 weeks. I know you got a lot of stuff on your mind. You want to get home and see your wife. You got that beautiful trophy. Thanks for joining us. Before we let you go, let everybody know, let all the Ike Live viewers know, how can they follow you? How can they keep in touch with you on social media?
Yeah, I mean, Instagram, at Justin Lucas Bass, Facebook, Justin Lucas Fishing, and Twitter, Justin Lucas Bass. But, JustinLucasFishing.com, too. You can get to all that stuff from there. So, we try and post a lot of fun stuff. Ike, I've had you a couple times, I think, posted on that stuff. And we try and keep it fun and low-key and interesting stuff, too. So you guys make sure to follow me.
Awesome. Well, once again, great job, great West Coast swing, and great win on the Delta. We'll see you in a couple weeks down on Kentucky Lake, Justin.
All right, sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks,
Congratulations, man.
Justin
All right,
Lucas,
thank
everybody.
you.
Congrats.
Wow,
Good job, dude.
man. Wow.
That was
Very
great.
impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive. Dave, I thought you had Dave. Are you still there? Are you still live? I haven't heard anything from you.
He's sweating
breath,
under the
a
lights.
fart, a
Nah,
burp, anything.
I'm all right, dude. Yeah, no, just letting Justin talk and tell us what he did, man.
Oh, you let him off the hook pretty good.
He didn't slip up. He didn't say anything that you can get him on. I mean, what am I gonna do? You can't make it up.
Now you're not going to let Aaron off the hook, right?
Nope.
You're gonna keep Aaron to the grill here on a couple things, all right?
Aaron's swimming with the sharks on this one, man.
Okay. The Shark Tank, the Ike Live Shark Tank.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, so what do you want to do? You want to play the Exmark spot? Do a quick promo? Play the spot?
Let's do this. Yeah, that's a great idea. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Listen to me. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be back in a couple minutes. We're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we have probably one of the most interesting fellas in professional fishing. Aaron Martens is going to be joining us live, a.k.a. the Rain Man, joining us live on the phone. Can't wait for that. And let me remind you, and I've been keeping up with this, send in your photo of you watching Ike Live. We've got some great ones here. I saw we've got one here of a guy eating the flat dog, havoc baits. He's eating them live. We've got another one here. Look at this one.
Do it.
He's with his wife or his girlfriend,
Ooh.
and they're drinking Bacardi.
Winner.
That might be the winner. She's pretty cute.
Cute.
We've got another one here. Look at that beard.
Yeah,
Take a look at that beard.
Oh.
Take a look at that. Wow.
Oh.
You want your Wawa? I hope you get your Wawa. Hey, listen. Submit your photo after we talk to A-Mart. We're actually going to give away this Tackle Warehouse gift pack, so keep them coming in. Stay tuned. Hang in there for a couple minutes, and we're going to be right back on Ike Live. See you in a second.
Hey folks, Mike Iaconelli here, and you know what I'm going to do when I take back my weekend. I'm going fishing. Yeah, big one! Go to exmark.com/weekends, submit your video on how you're going to take back your weekends for a chance to win an Exmark mower, cool outdoor gear, and a chance to fish with me. Yeah!
What's your favorite way to enjoy a weekend? Create and submit your Take Back Your Weekends video at exmark.com/weekends for a chance to win one of 18 prize packages valued at over $31,000.
You're live, Dave.
All right, welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Where's Mike at, guys?
I don't know. He left.
We're not worried about Mike. This is
So,
Dave
Brian,
all the time.
You know what?
Yeah, this is your moment to shine.
Well, yeah, great moment. So listen, why don't we bring up what's going on the Susquehanna with the cancerous smallmouth? Do you have that picture ready though?
Absolutely not.
All right,
John, did you have that?
So
get it. You
for
want
the
to pull
folks
it?
not necessarily know what I'm talking about, the Susquehanna River in Pennsylvania used to be one of the best smallmouth fisheries, in the country. And over the course of the last, say, 6 or 7 years, you have the endocrine problems where the male has both female and male genitalia, and they suspect it's from the nitrogen and the phosphorus, and they're having massive fish kills, massive die-offs. There's no reproduction going on. It's dying. It's dying, and they can't get it deemed... They can't get it protected under the Clean Water Act because a whole pile of expensive studies have not been conducted yet. Oh, there we go. What's up, Beck?
What's up?
We're talking about smallmouth in the Susquehanna that have tumors the size of ping pong balls hanging off their face.
That's weird.
No, it's bad. It's real bad because that same problem that those fish are suffering, they're finding it in the Potomac River Basin, as well as in the Upper Bay, in the Chesapeake. I mean, this is a widespread problem, and they attribute it. What they think it is attributed to most is the phosphorus and the nitrogen being dumped into the waters.
Well, I just have a few comments about it. I talked with George Acord at Susquehanna Fishing Tackle.
George Accord.
I call him Acord. Mike and George are guides on the Susquehanna and fish there for 20 years or more. And what is actually happening up the Susquehanna right now is the fishing's amazing. The fishing has.
Thanks, Pete. You dick.
No, but to your outdated point.
Yeah.
Outdated point. Now, what that actually happened, and they had a massive several year classes which failed, and so there was no 12 inchers, there was no small fish like we're seeing down on the upper Chesapeake
Becky,
Bay.
what's wrong?
And
what's wrong, Beck?
Stella got her
Stella
groove
made
back.
a gift for Daddy.
he's gotten off the mic to go change a diaper.
No.
No, she's here. I don't know where he went.
He left.
I think he's re-beveraging.
Re-beveraging?
I must have failed because I thought I brought him enough. I guess not. But my stalker came with me, but she smells lovely.
Well, all right.
But as for the outdated story, I mean, there's biologists from Pennsylvania as of just last month that might know a little bit more about what's going. Just because one section's fishing well doesn't mean the whole thing's not
There's
poisoned.
clearly a problem, right? And one of the reasons why they're really focusing on this cancer, and it exists, and it's a thing to contend with, but the Susquehanna River wants to capture the federal attention, right? They want federal funding to get after solving this river's problems. And even though the population right now seems to be strong and growing and doing good, it still has inherent problems that need addressing because it's going to go back to the way it was where they had some failures. And, I think based on, my experience with it, I went up and fished it this year in the spring for the first time. And the smallmouth there they're big, they appear healthy. But certainly there's some problems with the fishery or with that river system that the Pennsylvania Department of Natural Resources wants to address, and they want some federal help to help them address this problem.
The amount of hoops they have to jump through to get that money
is hard, and they're trying to get because they've been rejected apparently.
Yeah.
About
they need more studies
for federal funding, and they need more studies. And this cancer thing is something that maybe is going to help them.
I mean, don't you think though, in a sane society, holding up a smallmouth with a baseball hanging off its face of a tumor is enough to say, all right, we gotta look into this.
In all my years, I have never seen that.
No, me neither.
So that's certainly an unusual circumstance.
Well, it's a lot of years too.
Hey, easy. Hey, I just lost 20 pounds.
Oh, it's still
Yeah,
old.
it's such a healthy fishery, Pete. The
You
male
didn't know
bass
it-
have both the JJs and and
Yeah.
the male thing running around too. So don't give me that. It's so great. I mean, it's got problems, dude. And you don't step on
I agree.
your co-host like that when he's making a point. You let him make the point, and then you don't just tell him how wrong he is, dude. Like that.
What?
But wait, I want to understand this because I don't understand.
Show her the
So
picture.
what do you do about this?
She saw.
And then how long does it take for healthy fish to come back?
Well, it's a good question. What do you do about it? The answer to that, the simple answer is more studies, right? They don't really
No,
know.
the simple answer is stop putting so many goddamn chemicals in the ground.
Well, there's a lot. Clearly, there's that, right? We've got to stop.
More Mexicans, less
introducing-
chemicals.
We've got to stop introducing all the chemicals that are coming from farming, that are coming from industry. We've got to cut that off. But I think there's a lot of studies that have to take place before you can make a competent decision. And even then, making decisions about this sort of stuff is so hard. I mean, there's so many variables. It's worse than tournament bass fishing. I mean, there's a million variables that affect the rise and fall of a species and why they're having effective spawns and not. I've seen DNR make decisions to try to benefit populations, and it doesn't work. They've got it's a complicated thing that they've got to manage.
No, the problem is kingmakers. The kingmakers that are dumping those poisons into the river are the ones that put all these people in power. The ones that run the massive, farming. I'm not ripping on farmers, but the big farmers, the nukes, all those people that contribute to the problems are the ones that put the very people that are in charge, that are tasked with fixing it, in power.
Right.
Well, one sick perverted circle.
One of the weird things that one of the weird things.
I think it's a lack of information, though. I mean, I was just informed from a very reliable source that it has a lot to do with the farmers and the manure and everything.
That's
But
what we've read, yeah.
Especially like the Amish and everything. But I imagine that's a lack of education and not understanding.
Nuke the Amish.
Well,
yeah.
Well, one of
We just blame the Amish.
Absolutely.
We did.
One of
We
the
did that.
one of the advantages that's benefiting from those manure farming discharges is the crawfish populations are massive. They're surging. There's carpets of crawfish on the Susquehanna River, and that's why these fish are one of the reasons why they're so massive to begin with. Is they just have an endless food.
Yeah, they got an all-you-can-eat buffet in a nuclear waste field. That's awesome, Pete.
So is it definitely killing off the fish or just giving them crazy deformities?
Just shankers.
I think both.
Honestly, I think the point is that the DNR wants to study this more to figure out what it is. And
Why are you ignoring me, Pete? Why won't you answer my question?
Yeah, answer the question, Pete.
We have deformed fish or lack of fish?
We had lack of fish. We no longer have lack of fish. The fishing's amazing right now. And they saw a deformed, cancerous fish, and they're drawing attention to it. I've caught 1 million fish in my life. Talked to the folks at Susquehanna
Round of applause.
Fishing Tackle. They've not seen a cancerous fish in their trips. It seems to be an unusual occurrence, but nonetheless, it did occur.
Beck, where the hell's Mike?
He's changing a diaper.
Okay.
You're the best guest anyway. Beck.
I did,
Everybody says so.
Dave. I did
I'm
talk
out.
last year to a guy from DNR who brought that to my attention, and he was talking about the runoffs from the farm and exactly what Becky said. That's what they are attributing a lot of it to. The majority is them putting the pesticides down and the rainwater washing it in, along with manure and all that stuff.
I'd read an article about 15 years ago that the Neuse River, I believe it's North Carolina, the Neuse River, North Carolina, they had such a problem with the pig waste going into the river that, like, unless my memory's failing me, like, people died from the poison. Like, there was like poisonous stretches of this river that there was this microbe that, like, was forming.
Well,
and it was deadly. It was a deadly microbe that was in this Neuse River.
What about the James River? Do you see signs out on the James River? You seen them signs when you go down there? Don't swim in the river.
Yeah.
Well, runoff is a
Wait, where in
runoff
the
is a
James?
massive
I've never
problem.
seen signs say not to swim in the James.
What's that?
Just
Chickahominy
they don't want you
Park.
to swim through the rapids so you don't drown.
That's because they don't put those signs where the rich people live. They just put that where the dumb poor people are, Becky.
Oh, are you talking about my silver spoon?
Yeah. The affluent don't like to know they're swimming in filth. They just tell us poor folk that we're doing it.
Well, let me.
I do want to say though, this is interesting because not that we need to dive into this, but so look, you're seeing things happen because the fish and these cancers and the runoff from these farms. But doesn't that scare you a little bit about what we're eating?
Of course.
Sure.
Isn't that great that a pregnant woman can't eat salmon? You'll die. You're going to get mercury. I mean, you can't even eat a fish.
A friend of mine just got.
Definitely don't eat the Susquehanna bass.
Friend of mine just got cancer, and they ruled out by testing her that her cancer was not caused by it being inherited, through, her father, stepfather, whatever. Her cancer was caused by either something she
outside
ate,
means,
breathed, smelled, whatever.
How about it?
That's scary.
Isn't that crazy?
Jesus.
Not really a topic for Ike Live, but
No.
it's just scary.
Well, stormwater runoff is a massive situation. 20 years ago, I can't believe it's been 20 years since I worked in the environmental field, cleaning up these kinds of messes, dealing with these kinds of messes. Stormwater permitting, trying to regulate the amount of contaminants that are involved in your drainage. For instance, industries, when the rain falls, the stormwater picks up chemicals, and it's gonna finally wind up in the Delaware River, the Susquehanna River, every river system around the country, every lake.
It's funny you should mention that because this is an interesting Delaware River thing I'd come across. For the longest time, I would say in the early 2000s to about 2004, 2005, I could kill them in the spring in Cooper River.
Yeah.
Then we had some serious snowfall a couple years after that. And the following springs, they were just not there anymore. And it took a lot of looking back to the past to realize that all of the salting that was done in Camden City that flushed into the creek may have chased out the fish.
Yeah,
because it was reliable for like 4 years straight, man.
Well, you got to be responsible for that, and we as a society got to be responsible for what's happening with that runoff. Whatever industry, commercial thing that we're running, the farmers, everybody's got to be responsible for that runoff.
Well, what happens when all the sewage? You hear 50,000 gallons of sewage went into some river. How does that happen? Like after a big storm?
Yeah, it happened in Delaware, down in Salem.
Sewage?
Yeah.
Philadelphia pumps raw sewage when they get too much rain. Their system's outdated.
Well,
in the Schuylkill.
Right into the Schuylkill.
It's kind of the solution to pollution is dilution.
The solution to pollution. Is that
true.
a technical term?
It kind of is. When you get an excessive amount of rainfall, the dilution factor, minimizes the amount of pollution that's affecting the environment. But it is what it is. But certainly, we want to see things under control on the Susquehanna River. I love the Susquehanna River. It's got some of the most amazing smallmouth fishing in the world. It's responsible for about 90% of the fresh water coming into the upper Chesapeake Bay.
Huh.
And, so and in the upper Chesapeake, we've got a problem with big fish. It's a terrible problem, right?
Yeah.
They're all 3 to 5 pounders. They're freaking amazing. But we're missing those 12 inchers. And, we need to see more small fish on the Chesapeake. And I'm a little bit concerned about that as an angler out there on the Chesapeake. Hey! And we see our
Excellent topic. Thank you for
Excellent
that,
topic.
Pete.
Yeah, I'm going to dial up Aaron here. You guys talk amongst yourself.
Let's do it. Let's dial up Amart.
That was sewage all around.
Hey,
Silly sewage.
we got Amart coming on, and what about the other wives out there, Becky? I mean, you've been credited as being one of the best hosts, as one of the best guests on Ike Live. I mean, what other wives are interesting out there on the tournament trail?
Oh, we could get lots of them on, but I think you'd be scared if you got a herd of us.
I mean, as long as there's a room full of milks, it'll work.
Stories and the real.
Wait, Pete, you're onto something here. The Real Housewives of Bass Fishing.
We'll all get on after we get our royal tattoos because it's a running joke amongst us wives that everyone thinks we lead these very glamorous bonbon eating lifestyles. But man, do we have some stories of being just this West Coast swing, the amount of people that had to help out, trucks that broke down coming over the mountains, service crew guys picking up boats, people pulling, campers back to other locations just to get the anglers there, to Havasu in time to start practice. I mean, we are a family out here. I mean, I know that these guys are competitors, but at the same time, without each other, you can't get a lot of this done. Like, you have to rely on each other.
That's pretty cool.
Do we have Aaron?
We have them.
We do. Yes, we do.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, guys there?
Hey, joining us live via phone, we're going to find out where he's at right now, is the winner of the last event at Lake Havasu, Aaron Martens, everybody! Aaron Martens!
Woo! There you are.
Hey, Mark!
You guys hear me or what?
Yeah, we hear you, man.
Loud and clear, Aaron.
Oh, I hear you guys better now. You guys are all like in a tunnel or something. Yeah, I won, bro. Thanks for the congratulations. I'm heading home right now.
Yay!
Alabama?
Long A drive. Long A drive.
Ooh.
What's going on?
Oh, nothing. The drive's a lot easier when you have a blue trophy sitting next to you.
I got a trophy sitting behind me. That's right. It's in the seat behind me. All buckled in.
Aaron always has the details.
Now, I don't know if a lot of our IKE Live viewers know this, and I want you to talk about this a little bit, Aaron. This is the second elite event that you won on Mother's Day. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. I won, I guess Gunnersville was the other one. My mom wasn't there, but I wished her Mother's Day, and I told her it was a present for her. But that was at Gunnersville. G-Ville. We gotta have more tournaments on Mother's Day, I guess.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to say that. I just knew you were going to say that.
I know. That was really corny.
Yeah, I got to tell you something.
I'm driving all by all the buttes. I'm in New Mexico where all the big pretty mountains are. It's still light here. I'm sure it's dark as a well digger out there, but it's really nice here, so it's really pretty. I don't mind making that drive. It's actually kind of cool. But it's a long drive. Did you drive back, Ike, or did you fly?
I'm still here, Aaron. I'm actually still in Lake Havasu City. We're going to be here until Friday, and then we are going to head over to Lake Fork for the TTBC. So we're going to chill out for the next couple days.
I got my family's at home, so I'm going to drive all the way past Lake Fork, about 11 or 12 hours, and stay home for 5 days and drive 12 hours back. But I got to get home. I haven't seen them in 3 weeks, and my kids are getting really big.
Yeah.
It happens.
They're
fast.
growing up. They're growing
it
up.
Fast. Hey, I want to. I know I already sent you a text on this, but I want to say it again. Amazing job. Not only this week, but the last two tournaments on the West Coast Swing. Phenomenal job on the Delta and here. Talk to me a little bit about. I mean, you've won before. This is nothing new. You know, you've been there. But talk to me a little bit about how it feels to win again. It's been a little bit, and you've had a lot of seconds since then. How does it feel? I mean, I know because I won the Delaware last year. It's amazing, but in your words, how do you feel?
It's amazing.
Right
But you know how it is. Like, you win, and it's like amazing for like an hour. And then you got to do so much stuff after that. It kind of, you got to work again. It's like you're going back to work again. It's like all you want to do is like win and go like celebrate and have a good dinner and talk about it. But it doesn't work that way. Like, you win. Once you win, you got. It's like it's awesome, and all of a sudden all the work begins again. So it kind of goes away for a little bit, but I mean, it comes back. You just got to do your job.
But yeah, that's amazing. I mean, it was like, especially at that lake, that's like kind of you winning at Delaware. Havasu is like, that's where I could learn how to fish, and that taught me a lot. That's my phone ringing. They taught me like a lot of skills I use today. So I mean, it's like your Delaware. Like Havasu is like, that's where I grew up fishing, and that's one of my favorite places to tournament fish is that lake. So to be able to go and win it was awesome. I mean, it was like one of the best victories I've ever had. It was awesome.
It was awesome. I got to tell you, I'm a competitor of yours, and I fished a tournament, but I watched it on Sunday on the live show, and I was addicted to it. I couldn't stop watching it. And I want to talk to you about two things that really impressed me. The one is you hardly fished deep in this tournament. You hardly fished a drop shot. I want you to talk about that. But the second thing I want you to talk about is how you figured out that toolie pattern. Because I got to tell you, Aaron, I swear to you, I fished 2,000 stands of toolies in practice and had like one lousy bite. And somehow you figured out something a little different. I think you were fishing a little bit further into the toolies. So talk to us a little bit about why you didn't drop shot, and talk to us a little bit about how you figured that toolie pattern out. Because that was impressive to me, very impressive.
Well, that, Havasu, all the river lakes, when Lake Mead's tides got Reese, or we call them toolies, all the California lakes have toolies. I had a lot of experience fishing toolies growing up. Delta, Havasu's got a ton of it. All the San Diego lakes are full of them. And, I mean, like the birds, like I found the feathers reliable. That just made it kind of better for me. I kind of knew there was quite a few big ones way back where the birds were nesting. It was really hard to get to, but I mean, it was worth it. It was so work pulling back to the boat. The hardest part was getting the bait back to the boat. That was a really irritating part. But besides that, it was awesome. There's certain subtleties you look for. I mean, they're all over on those reeds, but there's certain reeds that'll have more fish in them. And they'll move back one day, and they'll move out to the edges. Kind of like typical, like different weather conditions. Like if it was got cloudy, it may have not been good for me. Being all sunny and bright like it was every day, just about, it was perfect for it. But I didn't fish too fast. I wanted to fish fast, but you couldn't fish fast. You had to kind of keep yourself as slow as the boat was going. The boat went slow, but I made multiple pitches, like a lot of them. I would move the boat like 5 to 15 feet, and then I'd fish for 5 minutes. Then move the boat 5, 15 feet, fish 5 minutes. That's kind of how I did it. And it wasn't that they wouldn't hit quick, it's just you had to get close to them, because the toolies are so thick that you can't just, expect the fish to see a bait 6 or 8 feet away. He's probably not going to see it. So the goal was to try to get the bait close enough to a fish where it reacts to it. And I didn't fish it long. Once the bait went through, I fished it for maybe 2 or 3 pulls, and then I pulled it in. Occasionally, I'd leave it down there if there's a good hole or a good looking, like a special looking spot. I might work it a little bit, but most of my bites came real quick. So, I know the last day and a half, the birds really did it for me. I mean, that's a common thing in the reeds, like in the spring. I've been doing that. I've been focusing on like the bird hatches since I was a kid, and I don't know if a lot of people do that, but it happens everywhere. I mean, I've caught 6-7 pound spots off of bird hatches, off of swallows. Like fishing by the swallows, the big spots sitting in the bridges and it's waiting for the fall out of the nest that time of year. And it may not do it all the time, but once those birds start hatching, they'll get on them. And when they start hatching, they fall in the nest, they get pushed out. And actually, a lot of lakes that I fish out here, they'll eat the adult birds. They'll jump out. You'll hear them occasionally, like in the reeds, jump up, and you know it's about hitting that bird. You'll hear the birds kind of panic and take off, and that's just, I kind of spit them up in my liable, full blackbirds. A 6 or 8 inch bird that spit it out, a 6-7 pounder spits it out in your liable. So I've had lots of proof over the years with feathers, and I had a whole liable full of feathers on Saturday evening. I noticed some of my liable. I scooped them out Sunday, but I had a net full of feathers. I I scooped them out with a little net, and there were just a whole bunch of them in there. And that just kind of made me stick to some areas a little longer and really fish them thorough. And that's what really won it for me, is kind of getting that clue and paying attention to that detail, and it paid off.
That's amazing.
That's cool.
That's amazing, because I think everybody assumed this week that you would have, a spinning rod, you'd have really light line, you'd be out in 20, 30 foot of water, and you just bucked the trend and fished a pattern that I think you're right. I don't think a lot of people realize that was going on. I can tell you I didn't. I know they eat birds, but I didn't key in on it, and that's amazing. That's impressive. Aaron, talk a little bit about the rod you used, because I know that was an important part. I heard people all week saying they lost fish in toolies, and you seem like you landed most of the bites you got. Talk a little bit about the rod and the line that you used to land all those fish.
I had one really bad day where the first day I did all right, and I didn't have a big wave bite. I didn't lose that many. The second day I was kind of stupid. I had 16.5 pounds, but I also should have had 20. I lost some really big ones. I'd never gotten the bites again either. But the second day they were biting a little funnier, and I kind of messed up and didn't make a hook change earlier than I should. I didn't do it early enough, and I lost like 10 or 12 keepers. Well, like 3 or 4 of those were like 4-pounders, those big ones, and I never caught them again, I'm pretty sure. Once you hook them like that and bring them halfway back and they come off, they don't bite again.
Yeah.
So I switched from a 3-aught super heavy cover hook, which is a Gamakatsu, it was just too much steel for flipping that far back in the reeds. And when you're over like 8 or 10 foot reeds or sillies, when you set the hook, you gotta pull a lot of slack out of your line. You gotta pull a lot of, you gotta make some distance up, and you can't get the real solid hooks that you get when you're more vertical and straight to your bait. So I made a hook change after the second day. I went to a 4-aught heavy cover, just a regular heavy cover, and I got rid of the super one, and it's a lot thinner wire, smaller barb, but it had a big gap in it. And after I did that, I was back to normal. I only lost maybe 2 or 3 that I actually kind of hooked, but I caught almost every one that bit. And I paired it up with the Sunline, the X1 30-pound braid, because the way I was fishing, I couldn't fish fluorocarbon. You wouldn't be able to get the fish in, so I had to use braid. So I had to use lighter braid because of that.
Right.
That was probably the key. One of the keys that helped me.
What about the rod? Because I know that's a rod that you've designed, that you're working on. Was that an important part of the equation for you?
Yeah, the last I didn't use my, I was using a 7/8, like Enigma flipping stick, and I had them all rigged up and stuff. The second day, I could tell the fish were moving back further. They're kind of on the edge the first couple of days. You can catch a lot of fish on the edge, and not a lot. It was kind of grind, but you could get bit on the edge. And as the days went on, I had to kind of move back further. And I noticed some of those fish I caught, some of the keepers I caught, especially were bed fish back in the reef. But they were getting picked off on the edges, so I had to start getting back. And in the last day, I got way back, so I had to go to a 7.6 extra heavy. And I paired it up with an 8.5 to 1 gear ratio titanium, and it worked. It worked flawlessly. I haven't used that rod in a tournament situation like that yet, but it was the perfect rod for the situation, because I had to move those fish real fast. I couldn't. Once I took the hook on them, I had to reel as fast as I could and get them in as quickly as I could, because if you let them get their head turned, or if you give them a little bit of slack or something, they'd wrap you up in the reeds. So I had to pretty much spurt them back to the boat, and it ended up working really well. I mean, I wouldn't have gone any lighter than that rod, and if you go any heavier, it gets uncomfortable to fish all day. So it actually worked out perfectly.
Right. Now we had a question from one of our viewers, and they want to know, what bait were you using, and was it designed to imitate the birds exactly?
No, they wrote articles on that. It was because I was keen on areas that had birds. That I wasn't copying the hatch. I mean, those fish were eating birds, but they were eating non-crawdads too. So I just stuck with a typical, 3/4 ounce for the heavier one, a 1/2 ounce for the lighter one, bullet weight. Then I used a bobber stopper with the 4/0, and then I used one rod. I had the heavy rod, the heavy weight. I used a sea crawl, a green pumpkin sea crawl with a punch skirt. And it was about both my rigs are green pumpkin. And lighter one, I used a green punch skirt with a rage crawl and green pumpkin. And those are my two primary baits. I caught 2 fish this week on a drop shot that I weighed in that were off habitat, and I caught some on a spinner, big, like 1.25 ounce spinnerbait. I caught some fish on that I weighed in. I caught like 5 or probably 6 bed fish that I caught off the beds, and then the rest of them were flipping. So I kind of mixed it up. I think I caught 5 or 6 off habitat, 5 or 6 bed fish, and probably 8 or 10 flip fish that I weighed in.
Gotcha.
I did
a little bit.
Aaron, this is Pete. It was awesome watching Bassmaster Live, watching you do this stuff. But something that intrigued me that you said on Bassmaster Live was that you hate drop shotting. Is that true?
I never have liked it. I don't like net fishing. I say that, and people they think that's all I do, but I don't even like it. I like to move. I mean, if I can, I'll definitely pick moving over like a finesse bait. There's a lot of times when a finesse rig is more, your odds are better getting the bite and getting the fish in the boat than they are say on a reaction bait sometimes. And a lot of times I choose a drop shot or a Texas rig or something like that because my odds are if I throw this in there, I might hook that fish and lose it. But if I get him on the drop shot, I'm going to catch him for sure. There's a 60 or 70% chance I might catch him on that, but there's a 90% chance I'll catch him on this. So I get stuck in a drop shot a lot. It's just a really productive, good way of catching fish. Even reaction-based fish, in certain situations will, smoke a drop shot. But my favorite lakes are like the river lakes, Lake Mead and Havasu, and they're really kind of, at times they're like power finesse lakes. Even when you like drop shot, you're not really drop shot and slow. You're really hitting targets and you're pitching fast. But Havasu is kind of like, it's one of those lakes you can do everything in one day, and you can change up during the week and, maybe drop shot in the morning one day and then conditions change. I might, throw this in the morning and then drop shot in the afternoon. It's just kind of something you got to kind of feel. And the river lakes are like that. They change constantly, especially, we got lucky with the conditions. But normally a lot of times we get monsoons or you get cloud cover, wind, and you might get a bluebird day sky where there's not clouds in the sky, and all those conditions change. The river fish are real sensitive to that. And that's why I've always liked this lake, because you gotta adapt fast. You gotta make your changes, and you can't be slow on it, otherwise they'll bite you. So you gotta be real. It's taught me to be a real efficient fisherman, I guess you could say.
Well, let me ask you this, because you say you're using a term that I haven't heard very much, river lakes. Like most all southern reservoirs are dammed river systems. What is a river lake?
The river lakes are the Colorado. That's what we call the Colorado River Lakes. Call them river lakes. That's what we call them. And because they're Mojave and Havasu are more like the river lakes. Lake Mead is. I still hear people say it's a river lake, but mainly in Mojave, there's like 3 lakes in a row. I forgot the name of the one below Havasu. I can't remember. I've been there. I've fished it quite a few times, but those are they fish more like rivers, kind of. They're kind of like a mix. It's kind of got some big sections, but it's got a lot of water moving through it. It's got a constant flow. Even down lake, it flows pretty good. A lot of water flows, and it's narrower. It's not real wide, so we just call them river lakes. Colorado River Lakes. That's what I've always heard. That's what I've always called them for 25, 30 years. This is what it's been.
Well, they certainly got a lot of water flowing through them all, and that makes sense. It's interesting. Why? What's up with lucky number 13?
that was what I had to reach before I could win a tournament. I told my wife that beginning of this year that I had to get 13 seconds before I could win a tournament. Because I have really weird luck. It just seems like I get held back a lot. Like something happens. I know it happens to all of us, but I've had a lot of weird stuff happen. I mean, that cost me tournaments, first places, and that. But the seconds come real easy. Like for some reason I get this. I wish I could get more first, but I had 12 seconds. I figured I needed probably 13 seconds before I could start really. Maybe I could win one, and it happened. I got 13th, second place for the 13th time last week, and then I told my wife, "See, I got 13 now. If I win Havasu, and I won Havasu." So I don't know. I don't know if it's just weird or I don't know. I don't really believe in luck, but sometimes
Aaron,
I feel like
I got to tell you what's funny about that. The 13 thing. Pete has the same superstition, but it.
Hey, Ike, I can barely hear you. I want to hear what you're saying.
Pete has to wait 13 years before he gets laid. So he goes once every 13 years before his wife bangs him.
That's harsh.
So about 13 years.
Aaron, it's Dave here. So I guess majority of the fans, you view your 13, you view all these second places as some kind of a negative thing, where we all see it. That's what enamors us to you, is how amazing you are, that you were right there, like you were right at the end of it in 13 events. Like, it's amazing, dude. Like, I don't know. Please don't look at it that way, you know?
It's really fun. Yeah, it's fun being there. I mean, it's just fun, but it's kind of, after a while, it's like, I saw Clifford Perch. I saw when he got second. I could tell he was really bummed. And I know the feeling. I know what it's like. I've been there so many times, and different circuits too. I haven't just got a lot of seconds in Bass. I got a lot of seconds in the Open, the U.S. Open. I got seconds in the Wombat tournament. I got seconds my whole career. It seems like second place has been just a normal for me. But after a while, I mean, the Delta is like, I was kind of like, whatever. I mean, I was like, it's gonna happen. I mean, it's just me. It's a good finish, and it doesn't bother me anymore. But he wants that first place so bad, and it's just like, you don't get a trophy for first. I mean, I got the old school trophy, now I got a new one. But there's just kind of get used to it after a while. I mean, I've been second in some big ones, and I didn't like last week. I was happy for Justin, and I got over second place really quick, even though I bombed one day. I had a little over 12 pounds one day, which really kind of killed me, and that was my fault. And I fumbled the ball on that one, but I was okay with second. Now I don't know if it's because Justin won and I like Justin, but I mean I like almost all the guys. I say almost. I like pretty much everybody.
Pretty much everybody.
I like seeing him win. I didnn't like seeing Clifford be bummed, but
Did you get second place in the FIBA?
I've been bumped a lot. It happens.
Does anybody? Does anybody even come close to you in second place finishes? You got to have like twice as many as everybody else in the history of the sport.
No, I think Van Damme's got like 11 or 12. But he's been fishing 10 years longer than I have. He's got a lot of wins.
Yeah.
If I get seconds, he wins them. He's got like 20-something wins. But he's only got like 11 or 12 seconds.
But Aaron, that's the difference between you and the average competitor. You look at it and you're like, second place isn't good enough. I look at it and I'm just like, wow, you got second place all those times. I mean, I don't know. I'm just enamored by you.
It's the money too. I mean, I could use the money. I want to get a new house. I've been in the same house. It's a 40-year-old house, and I've never had my boat in the garage my whole entire career. For almost 30 years, I've never had a boat in the garage. And I got to stay at my friend's house at Havasu, and he had a garage. I had my boat in the garage, and it was like so nice. And I don't like the one, but there's a few things I'd like to have, like a little pack of a workshop, with some machines and stuff, so I can actually start making some bait.
Yeah, you need that.
But I can't do that unless I win some money.
What about a Ferrari?
Yeah, second place don't pay much. Second place is pretty not good. It pays a little bit, but consider how much money we put into it, time and effort, and you really got to win them to make some, substantial money.
Well, can I
First
advise
place.
you on the type of garage that you want, Aaron? Here's what you want. You want to come home. You want to pull up to your garage. You want to click the button, open the door with your truck and your boat. You want to drive. You want to drive the whole rig in there.
Yes.
Right. The whole
hell out
rig,
of it.
truck and
Yeah.
boat. Park it. Go inside. You can work on your tackle when you got time. But when it's time to leave, you click a button, and the door in front of your truck opens, and you drive out the other side.
I know. That's exactly. That'd be so awesome. That'd be like a dream come true. That's what I want.
Well, you got to be getting close.
That's what I want.
I do a lot of stuff to my boats, and I usually I do a lot of rigging on my own, and I rig my boat in like January, December, outside in Alabama and Birmingham, and I can't tell you how many times I rig my boat when it's like 18 degrees out, and it's not fun. I'm sick of it. I mean, I'm out there, and I could be in a nice warm garage. I'm out there and it's snowing on me. I'm trying to do stuff to my boat. I work on tackle. It's getting old. I'm 42 now. I think I need to have my boat in a garage. I think maybe not. Maybe it's good to have it outside. And I get out there and I sit in the cold and I'm miserable. Maybe that's getting me toughening me up for the season. I don't know.
A lot of people would be really mad at you right now for talking about the smallness of your garage, getting to fish for a living.
I know.
And they don't know what he goes through. You know?
They don't understand.
No, they don't understand.
It's good. I mean, I'm happy. I have no regrets. But I'm working to get to a house so I can have a garage.
Hey, Aaron, we got some instant message questions for you right now.
Hey, Aaron, it's J3 here. We were talking about this earlier, and we want to know your thoughts. What do you think about a tournament? Instead of getting up early in the morning, a little sleep-in time, 10 to 6 would be the hours. Good or bad idea?
A really good idea.
Okay.
Yes.
Next question. What was one of the most frustrating things this past tournament in Havasu?
Most frustrating thing is losing a dozen fish the second day. That was one of the worst days of my career. I've never done that.
All right.
And that was definitely fun. I was IKEing out there. Yeah, he'd be proud of me. I kind of lashed out a few times. I was getting really mad, dude. I'm talking like I haven't been that mad. I was like shaking mad.
What
Did you
what?
Rod?
Was it worse than the time you dropped to your knees and cried with the Hooters girl standing 9 feet away from you in Pittsburgh?
It was that bad or worse because it happened like so many times. And I get fit and get ready for it. And I still down and just bam, nail him, and they give him the top of the water, start skinning him in, and he come off. And that just doesn't happen normally. It was weird, a weird day. But that was like, that was up there with the top days, bad days I've had in my career.
Did you break any of those Enigma rods? What'd you do?
You can't break them. You can't break them unless you stick them inside the pipe.
Send them to me. I'll break them. I can break them.
If I try to break up my rods, it hurt.
All right.
I don't think you can break it. Honestly, I don't think you can. You can try.
Question number 3. Have you ever confused fishing with volleyball and spiked a fish?
No. I'll give you an embarrassing moment. I have it the third day. I threw back a 3-pounder that I could have kept. I'm sorry, the second day. It was my worst day in my career, and my fifth fish I snagged it in the head, and it was a 3-pounder, a good 3-pounder, and I got so mad I ripped the hook out and threw it back. And I was like, but that was after I lost like 12 fish, and I was like, oh shit! I didn't say that. I should have kept that one. I should have called Chip and made sure. I didn't have the rule sheet with me. I wasn't paying attention because I worked too hard. I don't read stuff. I just kind of work and do the best I can. And I was thinking of California, and I weighed a 2-pounder in that day. So I actually threw a 1 pound. I penalized myself a pound the second day.
Wow, and still.
I should have had 17. It was a good pound difference. I ended up catching them. My fifth fish was a 2-pounder. Oh. That was an embarrassing, upsetting moment for me. I was hoping that it wouldn't cost me a tournament. But I went out there, and the next 2 days I fished probably a little more hard because I didn't want it to cost me. it would be my luck kind of. That would be the kind of deal that would cost me a tournament. Like, I mean, I've thrown dead. Like that Russ Lane one that at I don't know, Lake in southern Alabama. We had it at Lake Jordan, and I killed all those fish that were dying on me in my live well, and I couldn't do anything to save them. Chemicals, ice, nothing helped. And I threw all those fish back, and I ended up weighing 3 dead ones with dead fish in them. I had like 23 pounds at one time, at one point. So I threw back and got all the way down to 20 pounds, and then I killed 3 fish, and then wrestling beat me by 4 ounces.
Yeah,
That's just kind of like my career is gone. So I thought, after I threw that one back and found out it was a legal fish, I had a bad feeling about it. I should have. That was a lot of weight to throw back, and I might need that weight, you know. But luckily, it didn't cost me.
Wow.
That was an embarrassing moment.
This is a question for both Ike and Aaron. When do you guys think the West Coast will get an open circuit? Do you think it'll ever happen?
You mean the Bass Open?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it done it in the past. That's how I qualified. I don't know. That's a hard question. I mean, I don't know why they don't. Maybe because, I mean, it is kind of down on the West Coast if you think about it. The circuits don't. They used to draw 120 to 160 boats, and a lot of the circuits on the West Coast are drawing like 60 boats now. And a lot of it is because of the restrictions. You can't just go from lake to lake anymore. I mean, you got so many restrictions because of the quagga mussels that it makes it really hard for tournament anglers to fish tournaments now, because you have to a lot of times have your boat inspected or you have to have a wire on it and have it in the, like they keep it. Some places they have to keep your boat for 30 days before you can launch it, and it just makes it hard now to fish out there.
Yeah, it's California. I mean, with the regulations, it's ridiculous. Aaron, this is Dave here. So listen, Aaron, on the show we have a rapid-fire question section. And these are questions tonight that are actually submitted by fans. Now, Mike, it's going to be a tag team format tonight where I'm going to ask Aaron a rapid-fire question, then I'll ask you one. And again, these are all submitted by fans. And Aaron, these questions start off pretty easy, and they sometimes get progressively a little more challenging to answer.
Gotcha.
Or offensive. Aaron, I'm going to start with you, okay? And this is an easy one. What's drier, the California drought or Ike's beer taps in his bar right now?
I know he's got beer, so that's the California weather, but you guys are at a beer tap?
Been out for a month.
Yeah, he's left us here for 3 shows now, and they've been dry since 1 show.
Yeah, man, you're not at that place. So if you're in Havasu, they don't have any beer taps dry in Havasu.
No,
So-
we're full here.
So what's your answer, Aaron?
He said California.
Oh, California's drier? Okay. Mike.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so our very own J3 here is a motivational speaker. Who would you rather get a motivational speech from, Mike? J3 or C3PO?
I'm definitely going to say CP3O from Star Wars.
Oh, man.
Definitely.
All right, and for the fans...
Robots are smart, man. Robots are smart, especially Gold LeMay.
It is Gold LeMay.
Yeah, that sound like Mel Brooks. Outstanding. So for those of you that don't know, Aaron is a marathon runner. Aaron's a very fit guy. He's very conscious of what he does with his body. So Aaron, what disgusts you more, catching a skinny bass or watching fat people eat?
Oh, I don't want to offend any heavy people.
Fat people.
That's their
I think you already.
I try to help people. I try to help my friends all the time again to eat healthier. But if I had to pick one, sometimes what people put in their body kind of makes me. I don't want to get offended by it. I feel like they shouldn't be doing it. So I guess a heavy person needs something real unhealthy that's kind of bothering me more.
You can say fat.
You can say fat, buddy. You're on Like Live. You're not on Skeet Live where you got to say, scale challenge or something.
I've been fat before. I've been 235. I know it's like. I can say it.
235.
No kidding.
Wow,
I'm like,
really?
I'm like 190 right now. So I've been 190. I've been about 40, 50 pounds heavier right now.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
Yeah,
disgusting.
for a little while. I was like that for about 6 years. And I was like, screw that, and I got lean again. Much better to be lean. You can move so much easier and jump around. I know what it's like. It's good. It's good to be lean.
Good for you, man.
Mike, Mike, true or false? Your boat loses 5 to 10 miles per hour when Brian's in the passenger seat without a helmet on.
Definitely. The drag from the ear.
That's an ear joke.
Both ears cause a lot of wind drag.
Thank you.
Sure.
Can't see them, but they're
All right, Aaron. 5-foot Lake Erie rollers or California dispensary rollers?
Wow, one's illegal though. You talking about illegal? You talking about drugs or something?
What's a California dispensary?
What are you talking about?
Legalized
What's
weed, man. Aaron, if you didn't hear it, our very own Pete Glusek is such a stiff. He didn't even know that California legalized weed.
He thought you were talking about sushi.
Yeah. Got a new roll. So where are you going, Aaron?
What dispensary roller are you talking about?
Kush?
Which one you talk about?
Yeah, grape ape. I mean, come on.
Which one do I don't? I mean, what was the question again? Which one do I?
All right. So would you choose a 5-foot Lake Erie roller or a California dispensary roller?
I'm not gonna say California dispensary. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, man. Pleading the fifth's a good angle.
They don't scare me. I'm at 921 Phoenix. I'm fine with it.
Next question.
All right, Mike. This is from a viewer.
Oh, that's bad. That's a bad sign, Mike.
That means Dave wrote this one.
What received Ike's wrath worse?
Oh,
Dave's 82 Datsun when he DQ'd you at Wilson's? Or one of your light posts after a massive fish kill?
Oh, that's an easy one, Dave. The Datsun. I mean, dude, that is Wilson Lake gravel shrapnel all up and down the side. Dude, it looked like you were in a Camden freaking shootout.
Oh, man.
We have to tell that full story someday.
Yeah, we can. We can get into it someday. All right, Aaron, here's your last question. Again, submitted by a viewer. This is a scenario survival situation.
All right.
Yeah.
If forced to, whose fingers would you rather have make you an on-the-water sandwich? Ike's fingers after dipping into a jar of gulp all day? Or Skeet's fingers after rooming with Velvic all week?
I know. Skeet's not doing that. And the gulp don't bother me.
So you're
Making a sandwich.
go with the gulp.
I mean, I kind of don't trust either one of them. And what are they going to trust?
Don't trust anybody's fingers.
All right, Mike. Last question.
I'll think I can that one.
All right.
I can make me.
All right, Mike. What has a higher chance of survival? Pete wearing his leopard print robe wandering aimlessly through West Baltimore? Or a bucket full of bass in a live well you are unfamiliar with?
I'd have to go with Pete with bathrobe and West Definitely.
Fresh meat.
All right. Well, that concludes this evening's episode of Rapid Fire.
That's awesome.
Outstanding.
Hey.
Well done, Dave.
The viewers submitted this.
Well done, viewers.
The viewers. Hey, let's wrap this up. Aaron, thank you for calling us. I know you're driving back. You want to get back and see Leslie and the kids. Thanks for taking time out for Ike Live. Congratulations again.
Congrats.
And I'll see you in like a week. I'll see you at Lake Fork.
Yeah. Sport.
You got it.
We're
Good
going to have to
job, Aaron.
catch 30 pounds. We're going to have to catch 30 plus pounds a day to win that one.
Good job, Aaron. Thanks for coming
Thanks,
on, buddy.
Congrats, buddy. Good job. Safe trip
Thank
home.
you.
Great babe.
Thank you, everybody.
Oh, there's Stelly.
There you go.
Oh,
That was AA Ron Martens.
yeah, that was fun.
Wow.
He's
man,
cool,
those,
man.
Those, I got to tell you, those fans submit some pretty awesome rapid fire questions.
Yeah, they're
With a lot of inside knowledge, man. They really watch the
what do
show
you
and pay
think-
attention.
How do you think they knew about the Datsun, the old Datsun incident? That was pretty impressive.
Maybe it was one of 4 other people that were there when it happened that
Google.
submitted it.
You think it was Don Palazzo?
Nah.
Or was it Dexter?
It was that. How many points do I need to make it to the classic?
Classic.
All right, folks, what else we got?
What else you got?
Well,
I got something.
What? Pete Glusick?
How about Major League Fishing on CBS on Saturday? I had my neighbor track me down while I was parking my boat in my driveway, commenting about the fishing tournament on CBS on Saturday.
I didn't even know they were on CBS.
Well, I didn't know it either. I didn't get to watch it, but I can tell you this: that Major League Fishing, there's something about that show. I mean, it's every single customer I get talks about, do I like Major League Fishing? How much they love it. I've never heard a negative comment about the viewership from the viewership perspective.
No, they do a good job.
They love watching that show. And the fact that they were on a major network, I mean, that's who else is doing that? That's pretty significant.
Yeah.
Another show, by the way, which focuses on not catching fish. They have an entire show about not catching fish, and it can't stop getting ratings.
Because that's most of us,
I think-
probably. You know?
Everybody can relate.
Yeah.
Something else.
I mean, you know
just
what?
thought I would mention it.
This conversation on our last show, before I watched Bass Live, I would have been like, yeah, but now that I'm watching Zona narrate when these guys are competing, I mean, it's taking out MLF for me, man.
Well, you think about it.
Lake
Try
Live.
pitching that to a network. I got a great show concept. A bunch of guys going fishing and not catching anything.
Well, we kind of have that now. A bunch of guys sitting around talking about nothing. You know, like we kind of did that. And successfully.
Peace out.
Peace out. So
Oh, hey, Mike, put Becky back. Can you put the headset on Becky? There was a rapid
Here,
fire question for her.
got a fire question for you real quick. You got to take over.
Beck Live.
Beck,
Okay.
you're on. This is Dave. We just did rapid fire. We just concluded it, but a viewer did submit a question for you, and the question is, what costs more money on the West Coast swing? The fuel to get out there or your internet shoe order you placed while en route?
I don't think I ordered shoes en route, did I? Because I was stuck driving because Mike had to go and have his leg cut open, so the gas.
There you go, caller.
Suck it.
Love you, Beck. Happy Mother's Day again.
I love you too.
You're making Pete's customers happier by every second.
Yep. I'm here for you. All right, bye guys.
Wait, one more
I'm
thing,
finished
Beck.
dinner.
One more
Bye.
thing.
Becky.
I just strangled my
Too
wife
late.
with
Let
the
her go.
headphones.
Let her
All
go.
right, here's something we've got to draw attention to. Is we have to now at this time, according to my calculations, we're about 8 minutes out. We've got to pick a winner from the Watch Ike live photo contest. Brian, aka the Carpenter, aka Spock, aka Ding Dong.
Perch jerker.
Wait, what is perch jerker, by the way? I mean,
Perch jerker.
It's an insult.
I don't know, is it?
Yeah, I would think it's an insult.
I don't know which one I like
Perch
better,
jerker?
ding dong or perch jerker.
I like the Ding Dong one.
Well, we'll go with that.
I've been keeping an eye here on the social media posts.
Good.
We've got some phenomenal submissions, man.
Yeah.
How do you want to handle the selection of tonight's winner?
I'd like to.
Pretty amazing.
I'd like to just make you do it.
I think you just picked.
You want to make me do it? I mean,
Yeah.
look this is just Instagram, real quick, and look at all these submissions in one night. That's pretty impressive. Look at that.
Any bikini ones?
We don't have any bikinis, but we did have that amazing submission. I showed that earlier in
Winning.
the show.
Winning.
That was a great one. I would say that's in my top 3.
Agreed.
How about the guy on the toilet with the beer?
The guy on the toilet definitely is in my top 3.
Agreed.
I would say that was in my top 3.
The wallpaper almost like locks that one up. That wallpaper really kicks it up a notch.
It's polka dot wallpaper. Now look at this one. This one comes from the Bearded Wonder 85. Ooh. Just look at the body physique on this guy.
Oh, that wins, dude. Come on.
That's hot, dude.
Come on, man. He did like a Kim Kardashian selfie.
Dude,
looking like Duck Dynasty, dude.
Wait. Is that one leg or 2?
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's
wow.
one leg.
That's one leg?
That's a thigh, dude.
It's one big ass leg.
That could feed a whole tribe
like
in the
that one a
Congo,
lot.
dude.
Wow. That's a
Man,
thunderous leg.
there's some good ones.
I like that
here.
one.
There's
I like
some
the-
good ones.
Hang on, we got a guy on IM. He says, he said, do you want me to submit one of me wearing a bikini? And I wrote back yes. We'll see if that one comes through in a minute.
He better hurry up.
Yeah.
You better hurry. We're making this decision in 2 minutes.
Yeah, you're
You better
about
hurry
done,
up.
dude. Your humor should have happened about 2 hours ago. I like
Hey,
the guy. I don't know.
he
We're
might-
taking it to a vote. My vote is the bearded dude with the triple thigh on the ground. That dude's a riot, man.
They say the bearded guy needs pasties. He's out.
I get the humor on that, though. I mean, that was awesome. Come on.
It was. It was solid.
Well, we do have. Let me show you. And speaking of some of the best photos, I switched from Instagram and Twitter, and here on watching Ike live in the hot tub. Look at this.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Although we don't see the Ike live in the background.
Yeah, there's no Ike live. It's just a selfie of him and his attractive significant other.
Well, he's the first one to post the attractive significant other.
That's Scott Edmonds submitted that 1 hour ago.
Shout out to Scott.
That's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good one.
Pretty good.
Scott, Pete's customers will now stalk your attractive significant other. Be careful.
Oh wait a minute. The Don posted one, and he's not in it. But look at liquor to the right screen.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. It's awesome. We got a bunch of alkies watching the show. It's perfect. Oh wait a minute. Here we've got one with somebody watching Ike Live, and look at the screen above Ike Live.
Shaq.
Shaq.
Yeah, I saw that. That's Shaq.
We've made the mainstream. We're in the same ballpark. It's pretty impressive. I don't know. Let's take a vote, guys. You want to vote on this? I'm thinking, man, there's a lot of good ones here. What do you think?
Well, go ahead, Brian.
I got polka dot potty.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm liking polka dot potty. I'm with you on that one.
I'm going with beard, selfie,
Bearded lady.
bearded lady.
Jill the bearded lady.
Yeah.
I'm
Pete?
going with the bearded lady. Okay, so we got one for
I'm with
bearded
you
lady.
guys.
Pete, what are you voting for?
I don't know. I haven't seen one that I like.
What?
Pete's that guy at the restaurant that's a dick with his menu. Like, the waitress is coming back 100 different times. You know, she's frustrated but trying to act nice so she can get a tip. And Pete's just like, I don't know. You know,
What are
like,
the specials again?
Yeah. What?
You know, some
Do you have foie gras?
This isn't cooked right. Take the shit back.
Yeah.
you know, sometimes they just got to get it right. I don't. I haven't. seen-
I got it. You know what, Mike, keep peeling. Pete's not ready. Mike, what's your vote?
You know, I saw a lot there that I liked, and I think at this and there's we got ones coming in constantly. Here's one with a young man with Billy the Bass on the back wall.
That's hot. And a lot of
watching Ike
rods.
Live. That's a great one. I gotta say the one with the guy taking a dump is gonna be my
That's
vote.
it. No matter what Pete votes on, it don't matter. It's three. It's three. You know.
But there's no, but that's an old shot.
You don't think that's tonight?
Oh. Ooh.
That was Photoshop.
That's
though.
Or
Photoshop.
this one. That's a good one.
Hold on. Brian and J3 are investigating a photo. What do you got?
Dave knows we got something good and he wants a part of it.
What do you got, man?
We're going polka dot potty. Lock
All
it
right.
up.
Sorry.
Everyone else.
Sorry, scale challenge guy with a beard on the ground.
Nah, he was definitely.
I tried, man.
That was pretty awesome.
Polka dot potty it is.
Oh, congratulations.
All right.
Get in the pack.
I don't think I've ever took a dump with a hat on.
All right, so who's the winner? We talking bathroom winner?
Yeah.
Polka dot potty.
The potty winner is the winner of tonight's Ike Live. You are going to receive the amazing grand prize of a Tackle Warehouse gift pack, which includes a hat. It includes a $25 Tackle Warehouse gift card, a koozie, and a bumper sticker that you can stick anywhere, including on your bathroom wall to offset the horrible polka dots that your wife put up as wallpaper.
All right.
Give us one to Mike. You got to answer this in 3 words.
All right. So why don't we do this? Why don't we open it up to...
Oh, Mike, real quick. Tell him how to... He's got to send us the address somehow.
Okay, yes. So the winner tonight, let me reference it one more time, is Poker Fishin'. That's POKERFISHIN. Poker Fishin'. If you will send us a direct DM, a direct message with your address, we will be sure to get that out to in the mail to you recently. Oh, but wait, we have 2 options, right? We can get it to you without a signature. Or we want to talk about that?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
We'll get it to you.
No, go ahead. Talk about that.
Okay. If you want the hat signed and you don't mind waiting about 3 weeks, we'll sign that hat for you.
You'll sign the hat.
No, we will. The entire cast of Ike Live will sign the hat and get it sent to you. If you just want the hat without any signatures, we'll have it to you within a week.
It's going to be even funnier. He's like, just take the hat. I'm good.
Well, J3's signature's got to be worth at least an extra $1.
Can I just get...
It's the astronaut helmet.
Yeah, but that extra motion might rip his shirt, dude. Extra small? Sorry, man.
It's a schmedium. Schmedium.
It's a schmall.
It's a small. Jersey
I
show.
am rocking the 80s tank top tonight.
Nice.
I don't know if you noticed that.
Italian horn.
Okay, look.
Mike, this guy...
I got to have this.
Go ahead.
We got an IM here, okay? And let's open it up. 3 questions we'll answer because everybody asks off-the-wall questions all night long, and we try to incorporate them. It's very difficult, but we try to get you answered as best as possible. And I was cleared by Brian to let this guy have it. We got a gigantic pain in my ass, okay? Royal. He has put the question up on the instant message board at least 50 times. He's worse.
Wow.
He's worse than your 4-year-old asking you, Dad, 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 and you just want to football kick him down the stairs. So here we go. For the gigantic pain in the ass, both Ike and A-Mart, which isn't on the phone anymore. What's your take on the Toyota Texas Bass Classic? I personally love fork, but did either of you prefer Conroe over fork? Or would you entertain a different lake? So I guess the first part of that, personally, the guy loves fork, but did either of you prefer Conroe over fork? So Lake Conroe or Lake Fork? Which one?
Gotcha. It's actually an okay question. I don't know if they need to ask it 30 times, but I'd say the answer to that is I like the variation. I'd like to see them actually move the TTBC to a different location every year. Conroe's great. Conroe's a challenge. It's a more difficult fishery. Fork's got a million big ones in it, and you've got to fish through timber and deep water. But I'd like to see them change it up every year. The problem is when you start having it on the same place, you'll get a guy like Keith Combs. Nothing against Keith Combs, but you'll get a guy like Keith Combs that he'll go there and camp there for months at a time. He'll learn the fishery intimately, and he knows that it'll be there over the next couple years. So he's got a huge advantage. I'd like to see the TTBC move to a different Texas fishery every year. Have it at Fork, have it at Conroe, have it at Rayburn, have it at Toledo. Move it around. Amistad, Falcon. That's my opinion on the TTBC. Move that damn tournament around. Don't put it on the same place every year.
Cool.
Very cool.
Thanks for your persistence.
Persistent.
I am guy.
What else we got, Pete? Do you want to mention any updates on Bass University, Pete? I noticed a hat laying there on the table earlier.
Yeah.
What's going on with BTV?
Sign up for Bass UTV. Get our cool new hat.
Yes.
Thanks for noticing.
I didn't get one. I
I want
signed
a
up.
hat, damn it.
Well, we don't give you much.
He's stingy with the hats.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff to plug. Right now, Justin Lucas on Bass University TV in the library with his wacky Senko, wacky, stick bait technique. That's hot. Bass University TV's going on. I'd like to also, I'd like to invite anybody to check it out, subscribe. We build better anglers. It's going to help you be a better fisherman. I am teaching and guiding on the Delaware River and the Upper Chesapeake. Check me out at petegluzek.com. Check my available dates if you guys want to come out. The fish are giant on the Chesapeake. They're big. They're biting right now. The Delaware River's coming on fire. Look me up at petegluzek.com and check out Bass University TV.
And I'll second that. Pete's been mentoring me for 5 years now. I mean, it's been a while. I don't know how long it's been. But somebody was commenting on that the other day, and I'm like, it's been a long time. But we went out on the bay the other day and tore him up pretty good. So.
Yeah. Was it motivational?
No, it was not motivational.
Like, does he have a name for you, like Skipper and Gilligan, like little buddy? Like, does he call you anything? Do you call him Sensei? Like, what do you?
We can't disclose that over the air at this time.
So you don't even throw your number one student, Sensei Pete, doesn't give his number one student not even a hat.
No, well, we hooked John up with the best of the best. And John, I'd be on. Not everybody's like John. I fish with a lot of guys. I fish with guys that kind of want it to fall on their plate. They're not willing to put in the work. They're not willing to do what it takes to make it to the next level. And John is. John's working hard. He's studying hard. He's fishing. He's going out doing the Marshall program, which I highly recommend. As the carpenter's hindering me. In all honesty, I mean, you don't just get to fish the elites, dude. You got to hustle, man. You got to grind. You got to commit. You got to sacrifice.
No, I have no doubt J3's got all of that stuff, dude.
It's hard.
I'm just saying you at least have an extra small shirt for him to rock. That's all, man. I mean, J3's got a good, he's built. Whatever. If I was built like you, I'd wear extra small shirts. This is actually an extra large. It looks extra small, but
That's at least a 2X.
Nah, dude. Well, I haven't put this shirt on in about 15 years.
That's a 1X?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, I could swim in it.
Since he brought it up, and we're going to do the motivational moment,
30
might
seconds.
as well go right into it. So I see it all the time where you'll see somebody very successful in some kind of sporting event, and they'll say, well, he came out of nowhere. And I'm not big into basketball or football or any of that stuff. But everybody knows that guy where they're like, all of a sudden he came out of nowhere. Well, nobody comes out of nowhere. Like
10 seconds.
Hey.
No, go ahead. I like where this is going. You hear this all the time in MMA. Go ahead, dude.
But nobody comes out of nowhere. I mean,
damn right.
Perfectly like, Mayweather. Somebody said the other day, why did he make $1.2 million or whatever he made on that fight? And I argued it with him. I said, well, wait a second.
$180 million.
Whatever he made, who cares? He deserved every penny of it. How many years did he spend in the gym eating right, missing stuff with his family,
beating up his girlfriends?
Right.
Being totally focused. At
least 4 or 5 times.
In the gym. Hey, that's training. Everybody needs training. But they spend diligently just 24/7 focused in the zone. Mike knows, I'm sure Mike's missed many birthdays, many times with his kids, trying to make it happen. And that's what it takes. So today's motivational moment, focus on success like your life depends on it. Because it does. If you're in your career, it doesn't matter what you're doing in life. Whatever it is, focus on success like your life depends on it, because your life does depend on you being successful.
Well,
I'll take it.
I'll talk on that point because Justin Lucas here tonight won his first, elite tournament, his first professional tournament. And everybody's like, he's the young gun. He's just brand new. This is his 6th year as a pro.
Oh yeah, he's been doing it for a while.
Yeah,
he's not fresh out the box here.
It's not. It seems overnight, but it's his 6th year. A lot of work there. Right. Point well taken.
I almost feel this duty. I watched something Saturday night, and it's been a very long time that I've been impressed by a boxing match. But HBO put on a fight between James Kirkland and Canelo Alvarez. I recommend, guys, if you want to watch not a boxing match, a fight, it only goes 3 rounds. Please YouTube this Canelo Alvarez, James Kirkland fight from Saturday night. It was an awesome not a boxing match. It was an awesome fight. It was actually what boxing was when we grew up in the 80s watching it. It was pretty cool, man.
Duking it out, or
it was a slugfest. They
Did
weren't
he bite
boxing.
The guy's ear off like
nah,
Tyson?
there was no ear bites, man. I'll eat your children.
Well, I mean, what do you think of the Mayweather fight?
It was
terrible.
It was horrible.
We're not talking about it.
We're not even going to talk about it because it was absolutely
It was
terrible.
a mockery.
See, I dispute that.
All right, good. Dispute it when we're at the bar.
Yeah.
We actually have to wrap this shit
All
up.
Mayweather does is win. He didn't win because he wasn't fanatical or crazy about the way he won. All he does is win. But everybody cracked down on him because he was a defensive fighter and wasn't spectacular. But
screw that hippie.
He's got more wins than any. Well, he's about to tie the all-time wins in boxing.
Other than
I thought it was
Kirkland,
pretty impressive.
Really? You watched it?
You talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
I can't see. I got Exmark right over your face.
You actually watched that?
What, the fight?
Yeah.
Well, I watched the ESPN highlights.
Oh, so you didn't see the fight.
So you took a big shit on me in my report that I studied on with the fish. You didn't even watch the friggin' fight, dude.
Dude, that fight was awful.
That was horrific.
Awful. Not one guy had a bruise on him.
No, each guy looked like he could take a prom picture.
On the bench.
Well, I tell you what I didn't like about it was how Pacquiao.
Even though you didn't say it, go ahead.
Well, I didn't like the way he complained about his injury.
All right.
Yeah.
I didn't
fair
like
enough.
that.
Well, how about John Murray
John Murray?
at Havasu?
What did he complain about?
His injuries.
He had a
injury?
good tournament.
Yeah, he had a cut finger and some tendonitis.
Did he really?
Cut finger?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Three finger.
Mike-
Uncle three finger.
All right, Mike.
Hey, speaking of injuries,
Man.
I'm sure the people want to know, Mike, how's your leg doing?
Huh?
How's your leg?
Oh, leg is great. Leg is great. I have taken off the compression sock. I've taken off the compression sock totally. The scar is healing. I'm feeling good. I'd say I'm 85 to 90% back. So thank you for asking about the leg. It's very
Awesome.
good.
Legs.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, good for you.
Thank you.
All right. Let's wrap this up, huh?
Yeah, that was good show, guys.
Yeah.
I was entertained.
Yeah, great show, exciting show. Let me real quick. Let me wrap up a couple things and remind everybody that if you missed it, or if you know a buddy or a friend or an uncle or a buddy or whatever, and they want to hear this show, you can download this anytime. You can download the Ike Live show right on MikeIaconelli.com, or very exciting, Brian the Carpenter, aka Ding Dong. We are on iTunes and Stitcher.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, and you can download us anytime on iTunes and Stitcher. And while you're there, especially on iTunes, write a review if you like
Please
the show.
write a review.
If you're watching the show in a bathroom with polka dots taking a dump and you like it, write a review and let us know why you like the show.
Much appreciated.
Also, want to remind you, please log on to one of our social media sites and like it. Ike Live Show. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Check us out. And please check out the Exmark Take Back Your Weekend promotions. Brian, are we going to run that at the end of the show or no? Okay.
Yeah, I think we should. You?
Maybe. Okay.
Oh, maybe?
Just check it out. Exmark Sweepstakes, Take Back Your Weekend promotion. Submit a video. Your chance to win a brand new lawnmower or the crappy second place prize of the day fishing with me. What else we got, Brian?
Hey, guys, listen.
I think that's about it, man.
Well, I was just going to suggest something. For people who aren't familiar with podcasting, if you're not watching it live, when you have your commutes on your way to your tournaments, it's a great opportunity to just listen to the audio only, or sit your phone up on your dashboard and you can peek at the show every now and then. But it's a great opportunity to watch and listen to the show while you're on your way to your events in the morning. You know, you don't have to watch it live. You guys can listen to it anytime you want.
Or sitting in church, or while your wife's bitching at you, put the earbuds in and
working out,
tune that shit out.
Washing the dog.
That's it.
Laying concrete.
Hey, Mike, when we getting you back in the studio?
So the good news is I will officially be back in the studio for the June show of IKE Live, which is very exciting. So it looks like we've got one more show potentially that we're going to do remotely like this, and this has been great. But in June, I can't wait to get back in the studio with you guys. We're going to have a blowout show. We'll have some special guests.
Yes.
I'll refill the beer kegs, so we'll have some fresh beer.
What's she saying? What's she saying?
Beck said, you guys could refresh the beer kegs as a gift. Yeah, but you know what? Don't put
it got
in there.
quiet in
like
the studio, Mike.
Don't
It
put
got
the worst beer you could ever imagine.
You're invaded by crickets. Locusts.
Let's wrap it up. Let me thank everybody. Let me thank all you guys in the studio. J3, Brian the Carpenter, Dave, a.k.a. Fatty, a.k.a. Wharf, Pete Glusick. Thank you guys. Great show. Looking forward to another great one coming up. Thank you for joining us. And once again, we want to hear from you. Chime in. Let us know what you think about the show. IKE Live from the West Coast. And we out. Peace.
Hey folks, Mike Iaconelli here, and you know what I'm going to do when I take back my weekend. I'm going fishing. Got big one! Go to Exmark.com/weekends, submit your video on how you're going to take back your weekends for a chance to win an Exmark mower, cool outdoor gear, and a chance to fish with me. Yeah!
What's your favorite way to enjoy a weekend? Create and submit your Take Back Your Weekends video at Exmark.com/weekends for a chance to win one of 18 prize packages valued at over $31,000.